Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's next reaction video, live stream. It's going to be October 18th, 2023, ALCS game number 3, Houston Astros, Texas Rangers. First pitch is coming up here right now. Let's go. Mad Max Scherzer, I was in a big rush doing reaction videos, getting things set up, for the live stream as well. Jose Altuve in the box. Let's get it going. Let's go, baby. Wednesday, October 18th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Houston Astros versus the Texas Rangers, ALCS game number 3. I was really pushing, man, to get that thumbnail done. It took me over an hour and 10 minutes, so I've been really rushing to get all the tag words in, get everything situated, and then Jose Altuve just popped up right to the wall. One away, Michael Brantley in the box. Let's go, baby. And I got some cool logos. We've got the Texas Rangers with the state of Texas there. And then I got this nice Houston Astros spinning logo also. I never really like to get rushed with anything, but you know how that goes sometimes. You know, you want to make sure everything looks good. I'm a perfectionist with the thumbs and whatnot too, and it took me a while. But your boy's here. And this is really the only big game that we got going on tonight. And we already know the Rangers are up 2-0 in the series. The Phillies are up 2-0. The Phillies are going to the World Series 100%. If the Diamondbacks can get at least a win, I think that would be good for them. Boom, Mad Max Scherzer, 2 away. But we're just waiting to be able to see, you know, if the Astros can actually match up and tie up the series. You know, this is must win, these next 2 games. You know, if you want to have any chance to be able to extend the series and not get embarrassed, you know, you got to be able to win these games on the road. Texas was able to win the first 2 games on the road in Houston. Can Houston do the same thing? I doubt it, but I wouldn't be shocked if Houston wins tonight. But Mad Max, I assume, is going to be on. So if I was a betting man, I would say that the Rangers will win tonight. They're the hottest team in baseball besides the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's go. I mean, the Astros won it last year, right? So, you know, we know they were, you know, very dominant. Everyone assumed that we would get the Braves and the Astros this year. And the only team then to not really choke, you know, with the extended time off was the Houston Astros. So you got to give Dusty Baker and the team a lot of credit. You know, they're well prepared. You know, they didn't expect to get down probably 2-0 against Texas. I'll tell you that. I assume they probably thought they would be up 2-0, you know, at home, or they would split. But again, the Rangers are the hottest team in baseball besides Philadelphia. Their 7-game win streak is huge. So obviously an easy inning there for Mad Max, but hopefully the Astros can end up making it a series. You know, we got to make sure that we get at least something good as we get to the World Series, but I wouldn't really be shocked either way. A quick 1-2-3 inning there for Houston, and we'll see what we got going on here with the Texas Rangers. Sarah in the building, what's good? Tender in the building, what's good? We'll go over the starting lineups here real quick. Leading off for the Rangers, second baseman, Marcus Semien. Batting second, playing shortstop, Corey Seager. Batting third, left fielder, Evan Carter. Playing cleanup, batting fourth, right fielder, Adalis Garcia. Batting fifth, playing catcher, Jonah Heim. Batting sixth, DHing for Texas, Mitch Garver. Batting seventh, first baseman, Nathaniel Lowe. And batting eighth, third baseman, Josh Young. And batting ninth, center fielder, Leody Taveras. And on the mound, Mad Max Scherzer. And this should be the X factor tonight if the Rangers win. If Scherzer goes 6, it's over, 100%. But we'll see what happens there. And on the thumb, obviously we got Jose Altuve on the left and Corey Seager on the right. And let's do the quick lineups for the Astros. I literally got started here a little late doing tags, and the thumb took me too long, so I do apologize. I wasn't able to start about 15 minutes before first pitch. Leading off for the Astros, second baseman, Jose Altuve. Batting second, left fielder, Michael Brantley. Batting third baseman Alex Bregman. Batting fourth, the MVP for the Astros, DHing Yordan Alvarez. What a stud. Batting fifth, first baseman Jose Abreu. Batting sixth, right fielder Kyle Tucker. Batting seventh, center fielder Mauricio Dubon. Batting eighth, shortstop Jeremy Pena. And batting ninth, catcher Martin Maldonado. And on the mound for the Astros, Christian Javier. I had to get some new photos too. So that's why it took me a little bit longer to get situated. All right, baby, let's go. But your boy's here. Sarah in the building. What's good? Tender's in the building. What's good? And at least we had something decent to watch tonight. Obviously, there's not really a whole lot going on. Preseason NBA. There are a couple NHL games, but I would rather do the ALCS or the NLCS. So I'm glad the game is on. I ended up doing the Philly blowout 10-0 yesterday. I think this one's going to be very, very close. And I could actually see the Astros winning this game. So this one should be much more competitive and fun. And then tomorrow we got Thursday night football, and it's actually a good one. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints, two teams I actually really enjoy watching. So I know tomorrow will be a lot of fun with Thursday night football. Let's get it, baby. And I did get an email last night. I don't know if you noticed, Sarah, but anytime you hear my voice on the microphones where it sounds like I'm very far, far away, where it sounds like there's a big echo, there's one of two things that typically happens. Either I have an issue with my microphones or there's an issue with StreamYard. And while I was streaming yesterday and I was watching the playback, I said, man, my microphones sound fucked up. And then I checked my email. They're actually camera and microphones went down last night with a lot of the streams. So luckily my camera didn't have any problems, but the actual audio last night wasn't even through my microphones. It was just through the microphones through my iMac. So that's why it sounded so shitty last night. So I got an email apologizing from the GM and the CEO or whatever, saying that we apologize. We know that you're online right now and that we're having some technical issues. So anytime you hear it sound like that, where I sound very far, far away, or it sounds like there's an echo, in the stream itself, typically I just have to make a couple adjustments, plug in and plug out my microphones, or it's an internal issue. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a microphone issue on my end that just needs to be refreshed, kind of like when you refresh a Google page. But yesterday, it was actually the StreamYard service itself that had an issue, but they said they fixed it. But while they were having the problems, it was exactly in the window while I was streaming from 5 o'clock to like 8 o'clock. So then it was so because like I had it all preset correctly, and then it just turned off on its own, and I didn't even notice because no one said anything in the stream. And obviously, I watched the playback, and I was like, "Damn, the audio sounds like shit." And then I got the email, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." But we're good now. Everything should be good with the audio and video. No issues here. We're in the bottom of the first, 2 out, 0-0 game. Javier on the mound, and we got Kata in the box, and I know this is going to be much better than yesterday. I know the Diamondbacks were very, very hot, but they weren't as hot as Philadelphia or Texas going into the playoffs. And, 7 games in a row, they're trying to go 8 in a row, and Houston is just trying to battle for their life. They were the favored team in the American League, just like the Braves were the favored team in the National League. But the only team that was able to fight off that long time off was the Houston Astros. So I'm a Mariner fan, and I should hate both of these teams. I'm not really big on the Houston Astros, as most people aren't, right? But I'm not going to be a hater. I'm going to call it right down the middle. And I do give a lot of mad respect to Dusty and a lot of the players on the team. I'm not really a big Altuve guy, but I do like Kyle Tucker. I do like Jeremy Pena, and I do like Yordan Alvarez. And obviously with, Altuve, it's kind of the cheating thing. Everyone has, their little things, their quirks. Not a big Altuve guy. I'm not really a big Alex Rodriguez guy either. I don't really count him as one of the all-time great Mariners. Anytime you end up doing something kind of suspect, you're not going to really be on my good list. You're going to be on kind of my shit list. You know what I mean? But I still respect what Houston has done. They've shown that they can win without cheating. And, for them to be down 2-0 and lose those first 2 games at home was a slap in the mouth. I guarantee most Astros fans were like, what the hell is going on? Because they know that the Rangers are good. These teams had pretty much identical records going in. But the Rangers were the hottest team in the American League going in, just like the Braves. Obviously with that time off, they were the best team in the regular season. But who are the hottest teams and the healthiest going into the playoffs? The Texas Rangers and the Philadelphia Phillies. And coincidentally, it looks like you might be able to get both of these teams playing each other in the World Series this year. Javier, 1-2-3, real quick inning there for the Houston Astros. And that's going to be a big key, for Houston if they want to be able to kind of get back into the series. Christian Javier has got to go at least 6 innings. If he doesn't, I'm not sure what their chances are going to be. I know they got good mid-relievers, they got good closers, but you're going to need the bats to open up. Yordan Alvarez can't do it all. So that means you're going to have to get some good production out of the top of the lineup. Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, and then to set up the big home run or RBI for Yordan Alvarez. But really, the X factor more than likely is going to be the 5 through 9 hole. It's going to be right here. Jose Abreu, Kyle Tucker, who's a stud, Mauricio Dubon, Jeremy Pena, stud, and then Martin Maldonado. And I would say out of all the guys in the lineup, this is probably the guy that you're least likely thinking that he's going to do anything. But that's where Houston will get you. Trust me, as a Mariner fan, I know. They're like, oh, we're going to take care of everyone in the top 4, top 5. And then all of a sudden, you kind of relax a little bit, and then you end up getting Dubon hitting a homer or Maldonado hitting a big RBI. And then all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard, and it's 3-0. And you're like, how the hell did this happen? So sometimes you can't underestimate these guys in the 5 through 9 hole. And they actually have pretty good players from the 1 through the 9. But as we said before, the Rangers are the hottest team in the American League, and they look and feel like they're going to be going to the World Series, especially because I predicted, even before the playoffs started, I said that if we end up getting the Astros and the Rangers, the only way the Rangers are going to make it to the World Series over the Astros is if they go up 2-0 in the series, knowing that the first 2 games would be in Houston, and that's exactly what they did. So can Houston tie the series back up? Yes, I 100% believe they can, but will they? Mad Max has got something to say about that. So as long as Mad Max pitches the way that we've seen him pitch, I think this one will be over, and it probably will be over in 5 or 6 games, but you never know. But again, if you go up 3-0, we know Houston ain't coming back from that. Big facts. This team spent money. Philadelphia spent money. And even though the Diamondbacks were probably the 3rd hottest team, going into the playoffs, when you spend the money and you end up getting good returns on your investment, a little ROI, then you know that you're going to have a chance. And obviously getting a guy like Mad Max, who most of the time is good, but he definitely has his kind of shaky moments. There's going to be times where you're like, God damn, what's wrong with Mad Max? But I feel this will be much better than yesterday's game that I did, where he had the Phillies go up 10-0. And the Diamondbacks aren't that bad. They just need a couple Corbin Carrolls, a couple Ketel Martes. They need a little bit more depth in that lineup. And obviously their pitching got rocked. And it really shows the contenders and the pretenders. And right now we already know the Diamondbacks are pretenders. And then these 2 teams, as well as Philadelphia, are real contenders. I think any of the 3 could win the World Series. But right now it's kind of feeling like Rangers and Phillies, unless you can get this dub, for Houston to kind of stop the bleeding. And that's what you ultimately need to do. Let's go, baby. Trevor is questionable. Fuck, I hope he plays. I'm looking forward to that Saints-Jags matchup. And like I was predicted, I was letting y'all know about the Lions and how I thought that trajectory was going to go. Now you see all these copycats trying to say, oh, the Lions are the best team in the NFL. We already know that the Niners and Eagles got that depth. Oh, hit him right in the foot. Scherzer. Uh-oh. Cutter went a little wild. Hopefully he's okay. And I do think that the Lions are a top 3 team. I'm not sure if I would say they are the best, but if we're basing it off wins and who lost and who won, we got 3 teams at 5-1. Then yeah, I would go Lions 1, and then you can obviously go Niners 2 or Eagles. But I mean, it's really tit for tat. You got 3 teams that are 5-1, and then you got the Eagles and Niners have injuries now with McCaffrey, Debo, Trent Williams, secondary for the Eagles. So it seems like besides Montgomery, he's really that main piece that's injured, but everyone is getting injured at the top. And even if you lose a couple games, Niner fans, Eagle fans, RELAX, the elite teams will lose 3 to 4 games a season. We're already in week 6 and you lost a game. Relax. You're going to be fine. You just want to make sure that Christian McCaffrey isn't out for the year. You want to make sure that all your key pieces like David Montgomery isn't out for the whole year. Now, if they were out for the whole year, then you're in some trouble. Then the other teams are going to catch up, like Tampa and Seattle and Green Bay and a few of these others that are kind of like fringe 9 or 10 win teams can catch up to the Lions, Niners, and Eagles. But for the time being right now, those are the three best teams in the NFL, in my opinion. And then you obviously have Miami and Kansas City in the AFC to join that top five. But right outside that top five, I would say Jacksonville. I would put them very, very close right behind because I see the nice balance they have, like the Lions, the Niners, and the Eagles. They have more balance than the Chiefs. They got more balance than the Bills with the injuries on defense. And Miami's great on O, but besides Tua and Waddle and Tyreek and Mostert, the defense is a little shaky. So we'll see how it goes. Top of the second, 0-0, Stros and Rangers. We got Abreu in the box. Mad Max on the mound. All right, baby, let's go. 1-1 count. Yeah, even if the Jags play in a shitty division, that doesn't matter. Who cares if they play in a shitty division or whatever? Who cares? I mean, I get it with Sarah and AR being out for the year, and the Titans are bootios. They're terrible. But the two teams that are going to be good out of that division this year are going to be CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, which will probably get the wild card or they'll fight for it, right? They are a fringe 9 or 10 win team if they keep it going, right? And then it's the Jacksonville Jaguars division to lose. I feel they are the best team in that division, but Houston isn't that far behind, especially if CJ progresses a little faster than people think. And if Trevor can stay healthy with that knee, don't be shocked if they upset the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Dolphins in the playoffs this year. I honestly feel that I don't think the Jags are necessarily like a Super Bowl caliber team, but I do think they are one of the contenders because the AFC is so weak this year. Wide receiving core for the Chiefs is terrible. They bring back McCole Hardman. All right, but that's not going to solve the problems. Mahomes doesn't look good. Wide receiving core doesn't look good. Defense is suspect. I would know. I got Mahomes in fantasy. The Bills look like shit on defense, so there goes their dream of going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Miami Dolphins are in a great position, even though their defense is suspect, as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they have good balance on O and on defense. And that's really what you want, as far as AFC, NFC teams. You want balance. Pitches outside, 1-1 count. And so for all those times, Toby, you were asking, you're like, the Jags are going to the Super Bowl. The Jags are going to the AFC Championship game. And I had to tell you, no, they're not, right? Now I'm telling you, they are a contender. They are one of the top 4 teams in the AFC. I like them a lot better than the Ravens or any of the other teams floating around with a similar record. Big facts. It's all right, man. Even if you play in a weak division, AFC South, hell, I'm in the NFC South. But if you're one of the good teams, you just got to be able to go as far as you can. And typically when the Saints and the Bucks are really, really good, we win Super Bowls. So, and like I said, with the Jags, you were close with Blake Bortles against, Tom Brady and the Patriots. You were like a half away from making a Super Bowl. And then you had to rebuild. No more Leonard Fournette, no more Blake Bortles. You didn't have the same players. On offense or defense, no more Jalen Ramsey. So you've had to kind of blow it up and start over. But I really like ETN and what you guys are building with Ridley and Trevor. Hopefully that knee is okay. 3-1 pitch, wild pitch. Come on, Scherzer. Uh-oh, we got runners at first and second. Uh-oh. Come on, Mad Max. What are you doing? You can't give up runs early. You give up runs early, big dog. And I know how mad you can get, just like that face right there. You're one of the Hall of Fame pitchers that's left in this baseball ALCS. All right? Come on now. Mauricio Dubon in the box. And I'll get photos of both teams and both players. I'm going to keep it 50-50 right down the middle. Sauer in the building. What's good? I'm still wearing the Mariner gear. You know it, dude. Still got the hat. Still got the Griffey, Mitchell, and Ness. Still got the chain. Still got the do-rag. Still got the socks. Oh, big hit. Go, go, go. Put on the brakes. Oh, wow. They got lucky there. If Yordan Alvarez was Altuve, it would be 1-0 right now. How are you, Sauer? I know no Mariners. It's a little depressing seeing these two rivals, going at it for a chance to get to the World Series. But you know what? We got to crawl before we walk. right? And we got to walk before we run. And hopefully we can spend money with Dipoto and Scott Service one day. I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe we get Ohtani next year. Maybe we don't. But if we can spend money like the Phillies and the Rangers, look what it does. It makes you a contender if you spend the money on the right players, right? Seager, the right player. Mad Max, the right player. So, things are starting to come together, with the Texas Rangers. I mean, 7-0 in the playoffs, very, very hot, just like the Philadelphia Phillies. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the best team, Houston Astros, American League, or Atlanta Braves, and the National League in the regular season. You just have to be hot and healthy. And whoever's hot and healthy usually can overachieve and go a little bit further. So, yeah, I'm rooting for the Rangers. I'm going Rangers, Philadelphia, but I am going for Philadelphia because I'm a big Bryce Harper guy. And I wouldn't mind if the Diamondbacks could actually overachieve, but it's like the Mariners. No one expected the Diamondbacks. It would be the same scenario if Seattle was playing. Like, it's a lovable, I don't want to say a lovable loser, but it's like that new team on the scene, the new kid on the block, right? And we're just not good enough yet. Like, if there was a 2 or 3 Corbin Carroll type of pieces there and better pitching, maybe the Diamondbacks and Phillies could go back and forth. But with the Phillies overachieving last year, losing in the World Series, feeling that pain, and then being able to come back and show that, hey, you want to talk about the Braves and the Dodgers all the time? Guess what? We are actually the best team in the National League, and we have been for the last couple of years. You can have a better regular season record, Dodgers and Braves. You want to win 100 to 120 games? Go right ahead. We're fine with Philadelphia winning 90 to 100, but we know when we get to the playoffs, we're going to play better baseball than you guys, and they are. And I feel that it's almost destiny for Philadelphia. But if the Rangers or Astros make it, they have a shot. Like, this is the first time where I feel all 3 teams are very equally matched. And whoever we get, Astros, Phillies, or if we get Rangers, Phillies, which I think we're going to get, right? Uh-oh. 1-0 Astros. Big. That was big, and that's what they need to be able to get back in this series, to have it go 7 or possibly 6. But I think that the Rangers, or the Astros, either one could win the World Series. And we could end up having a 7-game series for the first time in a minute. Like I said, I think right now I would say probably if I was predicting, I would say Philadelphia in 6. That's what I would say because I'm going to give respect, to the Astros and the Rangers. But in all reality, I think the Astros and Rangers are good enough not only to win 2 games, but I think that they can win 3 or maybe even 4. Oh, wow, look at that. 3-0 Astros. Unbelievable. Wow. And just like that, 3-0. Unbelievable. And like I said, 2 games were won on the road by the Rangers. Astros got slapped in the mouth. Their fans were shocked. Now the Astros got to do the same thing. They got to go in, obviously, Texas here, and they got to say, hey, we're down 2-0. We got nothing to lose. We won it last year. We're playing like shit. These guys are hot. We're the better team. They punched us in the mouth. Now we have to punch back, and that's what they're doing. Because I was going to say, if Houston didn't get any runs within the first 4 innings, it's over. Not only this game, but the series. So nice to see the Astros fight back. 3-0 Astros. Unbelievable. Maldonado singled the left. Tucker scored. Dubon scored. Maldonado thrown out at second. 3-0 Astros. And what did I say at the very beginning of the game? At the very beginning of the game, I'm always going to have those ESP moments. Every stream, I'll have at least 2 or 3. But like I mentioned, it's not going to be about the top of the lineup. It's going to be at the 5 through the 9 hole. And what did we say? We said, the key pieces may not be Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, and Alvarez, but it could be guys like Jose Abreu, Mauricio Dubon, or Martin Maldonado. You got Kyle Tucker in the 6 hole, Pena in the 8 hole, and those guys could be in the first 4 or first 5. They could be in the 4 or the 5 hole or earlier, right? So you got to look at guys that are going to be underrated that no one thinks they're going to do anything. And that's going to be Abreu, but specifically Dubon. And what did I say? I said Maldonado. And right there, right at the very beginning of the game in the second, Maldonado getting that big RBI that no one expected. And then all of a sudden you look up and what did I say? 3-0. And then literally 2 minutes later, what's the score right now? 3-0. Pretty crazy. Pretty creepy. The sports gods, they hang on to every word. I'm like, oh, okay. He says that this guy's going to be good. This guy's going to end up being the sleeper. And then all of a sudden you wait a few minutes, you wait a half inning, and there you go. Matt in the building. What's good? Yeah, Diamondbacks don't have the depth, though, unfortunately. All right, 1 sec. I'm gonna flip to a different one here. Get a better connection. There we go. All right, we're good. We're Gucci now. And I ended up digging up through all my collectibles and my old toys, and I ended up finding my Case Logic, where I got like 20 PS2 games, 50 DVDs, from back in the day. This is from like the late '90s, early 2000s, and I got a whole book full. And then I ended up digging up my PS2 and played a little Vice City, and I was like looking to see like the timestamp, like the last time I actually saved a game. The last time I actually saved a game on Vice City was from 2010, and I opened up the file to see like how many guns and ammo and how far along I was. I was actually pretty far in the game and whatnot, so I was fucking around with that. So that'll be something that I have now in the room, to kind of go back to my vintage systems. Got a 64, Nintendo, got all that. But I think the one that if I do invest, like I mentioned a couple streams ago, if I can get a Sega Dreamcast, that's going to be the system that I wouldn't mind spending some money on. So that way I can get the bass fishing games. I can actually get the fishing reel, for the controller, and then getting a few of the games that I actually like playing back in the day on the Dreamcast. What's good, Matt? How's that weather in Hawaii? And we ended up getting 20,100, and we just gained a couple based off the people that were in the chat earlier, I assume. So now we're at 20,102. So shout out to the people that are in the room, as well as the people that have donated, as well as subbing as of recently as today. So thank you so much. All right, so we're at 898 now to 21,000. Let's go. Just got to keep grinding it out. It's always good to better go forwards and backwards, But luckily, we're not having any other issues, with the audio. But again, if you guys are in the room and you guys know what my voice sounds like when the audio is on point, you're not going to hear an echo. It's not going to sound like I'm far away. Like it's like the sound is like vibrating off the walls, like I'm in a cave or something. You'll know. And anytime it sounds like there's an echo or it sounds like I'm in a cave, then there's something going on either with the, StreamYard itself or the program or the microphone. So make sure you're listening, when you're in here on a daily basis. And if anything sounds off, make sure you let me know. So that way I can just do a couple adjustments on the screen, or I can unplug the microphones, plug them in, plug them out, and then that fixes the problem. Otherwise, we're going to have a fucked up sounding stream. And I don't want that, especially if I'm streaming for 3 to 4 hours. Bregman, one away. All right, Mad Max. Show me, baby. And hopefully we'll get some goats to come through and we'll be able to get the dono train started, baby. Let's go. But I hate being rushed. But again, the thumbnail took me way too long. I'm a perfectionist, so I had to go through like multiple photos, multiple sizes. I had to adjust it, but I feel it turned out pretty good. I wanted to make sure it was perfect, and I wanted to make sure I got Seager and Altuve in there. And sometimes when you want to be perfect, you end up getting you like literally first pitch right when I hit start stream, like first pitch was just about to go. And usually I like to start about 10 minutes prior. So that way I can do the starting lineups and talk with you guys. But it is what it is. 3-0 Stros, much better than yesterday's game. Bottom of the second, Javier with a wild pitch. 1-1 count. Christian Javier. Got a couple new ones of him. I see. Jonah Heim in the box. Popped up to Alex Bregman. 2 away. Next up, DHing for Texas, Mitch Garver. But people don't realize if you're not a streamer, like what it takes to actually get a stream started if you're like producing your own show. Like, a lot of people just hit start stream and they go from there, but it's like you have to, get the tag words in. You got to make the thumbnail. You got to make sure everything is formatted correctly. You got to do sound checks. You got to make sure the microphones are working. There's a lot involved. It definitely takes about an hour, hour and a half to get everything situated. And then I go above and beyond and give you all the photos of the starting lineup. So then I have to go and get those. And if I don't like the photo that I have of a particular player, then I got to find a new one. But I think it's all worth it. It makes the stream complete, and I don't want to half-ass anything. Texas up 2-0 in the series on the ALCS game number 3. Astros up 3-0 on the Rangers in the bottom of the second. 2 outs, 2-0 count for Javier. All right, come on, Garver, show me something. And obviously adding the spinning logos is a nice touch to the NWSF. I'll be known for that. And it definitely takes the stream to another level. Rather than just having our NWSF logo, I would rather represent the teams, as they're playing throughout the season. Plus, when you get spinning logos like that, that's going to be much cooler than just seeing my fucking logo in the corner, and especially when we can have unique designs, like that as well. Very cool. Baseball ones are definitely top notch. Like, there's nothing wrong with the basketball, NHL, or the NFL ones, but I feel like they're a little bit more creative on the MLB side. Like this Rangers one with the state of Texas. I mean, it's probably got to be one of the dopest spinning logos that's out there. Big facts. Yeah, let's get the likes up. Make sure, mods, you're working together. All right, we got to make sure we're working on this as a team. Whoever's in the room, whether it be Matt or Sarah, whether it be Elliot, make sure that you guys are communicating and we're on the same page. Bottom of the second, 3-2 count, 2 outs. Javier to Garver, 3-2 pitch. Popped up. All the way to Tucker to right field. And got him. End of the second inning, 3-0 Astros. Game is going by pretty quick. But I just had a weird feeling, that some of the players that are a little, maybe underrated, that we're going to come up big today. They have nothing to lose. All the pressure is going to be on Altuve, to be like Altuve, on Bregman to get the big hits, on Yordan Alvarez, who's been carrying this team. But sometimes, or even a Kyle Tucker or a Jeremy Pena, those are the best players, right? But you don't really take in consideration, what's Jose Abreu going to do? Right? Probably nothing. And then really what it comes down to is there are 2 sleeper players, Dubon and Maldonado. And the only reason that I predicted that today, and it ended up being correct, is because I remember when the Mariners would play them, those were the 2 guys that I was like, oh, these guys are going to be the guys that no one thinks that they're going to do anything, and then they're going to punch you in the mouth. And that's exactly what they did to the Rangers today. Sometimes history tends to repeat itself. I remember like the matchups with the Mariners and the Astros. Then I'll have the predictions that'll come out, and then sometimes they'll come true right away. Sometimes you got to wait, a few innings for the prediction to come true, but it definitely became true today again. Megan with a 5er. I know. I watched the rest of that game, and bad enough, I was like, okay, we were 1-0, then we were 1-1. I couldn't even enjoy the 1-0 lead, and then all of a sudden, Avalanche, another goal, Avalanche, another goal, Avalanche. I'm like, come on. We are, like I said, Gru can't do everything by himself, and I don't know if we need to get another goalie in the next couple of years to compete with Gru. I do like him, but getting another goalie in there for competition, I think, would be good. And then on top of that, we just need to find a line that can score. Because obviously with Yamamoto and with Maddie, Bjorkstrand, whoever it is, we don't have enough goal scoring. We're not good in the power play. We're not aggressive. We're just getting beat up right now. And I know we're better than that. And I know that, we should have at least a win or 2 by this point. But it seems like maybe it'll be one of those years. And hopefully we can just get that first one. And then we can feed off that. And then hopefully we can get on a little bit of a win streak. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs this year based off these first, 3, 4, 5 games. It doesn't look like it, but the season is pretty long. So we just have to find the right combination to get going. And someone's got to step up, whether that's Maddie or someone else. But Gru, you can't expect him to hold opponents, in the NHL to 1 goal every game. And there's going to be games where he shuts them out. There's going to be games where he does 1 or 2. It's like in baseball, you can't win games 1-0, 2-0 all the time. Sometimes your offense has got to help the goalie out. And we haven't helped him out one bit at all this year. So But we'll see. Hopefully we can get things going. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, $5 holla. 95 to go. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos at the commercial break, and I got you. Thank you so much for your support. Yes. What are we going to do about that? We're going to bring him up, right, at some point for Chris? I mean, how many years before we bring him up? Next year? Because as much as we love Grew, if Chris can come up and be better and he'll be the starter and Grew is going to be the backup, so be it. I don't give a shit who's in there at goalie as long as we're winning and we're playing good defense. So JJ says whoever wins this series will lose to Philly. I agree. I still think that both of these teams are good enough to win the World Series. And normally I wouldn't say that. Normally it's pretty one-sided. Like I knew the Astros were going to beat the Phillies last year. But I think all three of these teams are better than Philadelphia last year. And I think that it'll be Phillies in six, against the Rangers. But if the Astros fight back, I think the Astros and the Rangers can win a minimum of 2 games, but they can win as many as 4. So I do think that the Astros or Rangers are good enough, from top to bottom with their pitching staffs and their hitting that they could win it all. But my gut tells me Bryce Harper, Philadelphia, they have the best fans out of the 3 teams left because the Diamondbacks are out of it. Uh-oh, back, gone! Altuve. Wow. So you got Texas win 2 games on the road. Now Houston is trying to win 2 games on the road, and now they're up 4-0. What a wild sequence. I don't think anyone anticipated the Rangers going up 2-0. I did predict that, though. That if they go up 2-0, they're going. But now, the Houston Astros are going to be like, all right, we now need to go 2 wins in your house to get it back to Houston. And if that happens, and if they go tie it up 2-2, Houston definitely has an advantage. Next up, left fielder Michael Brantley. But this is the most even 2 teams, and they're in the same division with the Mariners, so I'm very familiar with both. The Diamondbacks are outmatched. If we were able to get like Braves, Phillies at the end, then I'd be like, oh, it's pretty, evenly matched and whatnot. But I already knew the Dodgers were frauds this year. Sorry, Dad. Maybe next year. Popped up. 1 away. 4-0 Astros. How many buzzers is he wearing? How many garbage cans are hit? I don't like him, just like Alex Rodriguez, but he is a damn good player. It just makes me irritated that the whole cheating thing happened because I just think that they were good enough to win the World Series, without cheating. Clearly, they have an amazing team. It's like a little dynasty that they have, But again, I guess, it's not cheating until you get caught, right? If you ain't trying, you ain't cheating. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Popped up for Bregman. Routine play, 2 away. No homer yet for Bregman, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's get a nice little RBI later. Next up, DHing for Houston, the one that's been carrying the load, Yordan Alvarez. Well, it's an elimination. You're almost like in an elimination scenario because if you get down 3-0, the series is over. I don't give a shit how good you are. There's no way in hell Houston would win 4 in a row if you got down 3-0. But if you win this game and then you can win the next one and it's 2-2, anything can happen. So. And it shows you, even if you have Max Scherzer or these like Hall of Fame pitchers, it's just not just name recognition. Sometimes these big name pitchers don't play good in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's like you don't really have these dominant guys that do good in the regular season and they do great in the postseason. Sometimes you'll get moments, like Madison Bumgarner, who will be like electric, or Clayton Kershaw back in the day, but a lot of times, even if you're a Hall of Fame pitcher, it don't matter. Sometimes it's better to be kind of more low-key, like a lower-name pitcher, like maybe like a Zach Wheeler with Philadelphia, rather than being like a Scherzer, because there's a lot of pressure with that Scherzer name. You got to expect the unexpected in baseball. But it's not like the Rangers are just going to roll over and die, like the Diamondbacks did and lose 10-0. The Rangers will have a couple opportunities. They just have to make sure that they get some runs within the first 6 innings. First 3 innings, we got to go to the bottom of the third to see if they do, but they have to at least get 1 or 2 runs by the 6th inning. If not, then this one's a wrap. But they will have a couple opportunities, and hopefully they don't get like bases loaded, stranded a couple times, because that'll, and obviously the way the game has gone so far, it doesn't look like Texas is going to come back, but I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up coming back in this game. First 2 games, 4 runs, tonight 4. The buzzers were lit. The garbage cans were hit, right? The signs were called. The Apple Watches were on. The binoculars were looking. Everything is going Gucci for Houston so far. Top of the third, 4-0 Astros. And imagine, you spent a lot of money to bring in Scherzer for this moment to close the Astros out, and you couldn't even do it. So it shows you, even when you do spend the big money, sometimes it backfires. The other team has, clutch hitting. Popped up. Got him. All right, let's go to the bottom of the third and get some runs, Ranges. What do you want to see for photos, Megan? You want some Kraken? I'll hit you with a few of your favorites. Not Kraken related, but I have the Jaws Megan file on lock, so now I don't got to keep searching and whatnot. It's all good. We just got to keep rooting. We got to keep positive. Not the start that we wanted, you know what I mean? But we got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got to, not everything is going to go our way as fans. Like I said, especially if you're a Pacific Northwest fan, Blazers, Mariners, Seahawks, Sonics, even though we don't have them anymore. Oregon State, Washington State, in your case, USC. I mean, nothing is always going to go our way, but we can still represent and hope that we can get things turned around. I mean, especially if the sports gods are listening, they're like, "Oh gosh, Megan and O-Dog are suffering. Let's get them a dub. They've already suffered enough. We need to get them going here." So we got this. It's a really, really, really slow start. Schedule didn't really benefit us too much either. Yeah, I got you always. Appreciate you. 95 to go. Appreciate you. Of course, we don't even have a win yet. Especially when, it's like, it's one thing when you're an expansion team, and you don't expect to have a whole lot the first year. Then, you actually overachieve, and then you end up going to the playoffs, and you want to be able to feed off that momentum. It's like the Mariners. We went last year to the playoffs, all excited, thought we were going to go to the playoffs again this year. We didn't, and there was a letdown. So we need to make sure that, we realize that just because we turned the corner doesn't mean that we're going to go to the playoffs every single year. We might go 1 year, not 1 year. And then we go 1 year, and then we don't. Until we can get a team good enough for the Kraken and Mariners to go 2-3 years in a row, then we know we have something special. But, the way that things are going so far, I'm not saying the Kraken aren't going to make it, but The Mariners fought, definitely very heavy in the second half of the season, barely missed it. And maybe the Kraken can just, we just got to get that first one. And once they get the first one, then they'll start rolling. Bottom of the third, 4-0 Astros. All right, Javier. I'll give you some love. Oh, almost hit him. Four seam fastball, almost to the face. Careful, Christian. Josh Young in the box. Ten likes. Let's get 10 more. And we got a few subs too from the people that were in here earlier if they left. And obviously people that watch my reaction videos and whatnot. Sometimes we'll get people off those as well. It's been a nice kind of combination of both. So 898 to 21. So we're at 20,102. So as many as we can get over 20,000, that's the goal, until we get to, obviously the January 1st of 2024. Just trying to work as hard as we possibly can, just to get as many views and as many subs and, and as many donos and, just trying to gain some ground. And we're approaching 4 million views on the channel too, which I know to some people that's nothing. They'll get like 1 million on one video if they're famous. But when you're not famous and you've been grinding and building something from nothing to something, that's a lot. You know what I mean? So that's something to be kind of proud of. Because you got to think some of the videos that we do, we might only get like 100 views or 500 views or 1,000 views. So to be able to get to that 4 million mark, I mean, I've done 1,900 videos or live streams since 2017. So if that's not fucking dedication, I don't know what the fuck is. So, but we are at 3.8 million views with some change. So we're getting closer. Then we'll get to that 3.9 million and then 4 million. And then when we do 4 million, we'll end up doing a giveaway once we get to that too. Let's go. 20.1. It's always good to go up. Remember how they were hating, before, where we'd be at 20 and then go to 19.9, then go to 20 and then some change, and then go to 19.8, and then get to 20 and then go to 19.7. I mean, that shit was like, I don't know, man. For a lot of people, if they would break and they would quit. Like, it's like at some point, when you're grinding and you're grinding and you're grinding, it all depends. Are you in it for the money, or are you in it for other reasons? And I think a lot of people, when they're only in it for the fame and the money, those are the people that end up quitting. Those are the people that don't have work ethic, But for me, it's never really been about that. It's about the legacy and obviously the connection with you guys. Now, do I care about subs, views, and donos? Fuck yeah, I do. But the connection, and the legacy means more. And that's the honest truth. Because obviously I wouldn't work this fucking hard if that wasn't the case. I'm blessed to have you guys, especially the regulars and the people that never quit, the people that never went away, the people that go to other popular, places. And you can go to, whatever streams that you want to go, but usually the people will still make the effort, to come here, even if you have a couple other places that you go to. I mean, I wouldn't expect anyone to be just solo loyal to me only, but if that's the case, that's awesome, but there's a lot of people out there. I mean, there's 140 million YouTube channels, so. But we are in the elite, though. Like I said, there's only 2% of 140 million channels overall, right, that have 10,000 subs or more. So we are in the elite 2%, but we still got a long ways to go. Yeah, 4 million views will look nice, and then also getting this number up 20.1, 20.2, 20.5, 21, 22. And I think that Now, since I'm not in a bad situation where I can only record from like 5 to 10 p.m., where I have people, giving me horrible mental health, where I'm actually able to record at any given time in the morning at 7 a.m. all the way to midnight, 7 days a week if I want to. I got Paisley, I got you guys. So I feel that, we're finally getting what we deserve. Now, if I was able to do reaction videos, years ago, hell, we would be way above and beyond where we're at now. But also, everything happens for a reason. I needed to learn how to make the thumbnails, instead of, paying someone 20 to $35, to do it for me. Now I feel that my thumbs are on that level. And honestly, I feel that some of mine are even exceed the Johnny standard. So I feel like me and Johnny, if we made thumbs and we put them side by side, I don't know if people would really know the difference. So it feels good that, it only took me like a month, to figure it out. And then once I figured it out, now I can relay my style, in any stream moving forward. I don't got to pay anyone. Everything is in house. And that's the way it should be. Bottom of the third, 4-0 Stros. Big game going down 2-0 at home. And like I mentioned, with my ESP, I had a weird feeling that some of those lower name guys in the 5 through 9 hole would be the unsung heroes. Then literally 2 minutes later, after I said it, you got a big key RBI from Martin Maldonado. I felt like Dubon and Maldonado are the biggest sleepers on the team because no one expects them to do anything. They ain't doing shit. And then they end up being like heroes a lot of times in the game. So the ESP strikes again. Calvin in the building. What's good? How are you, Calvin? How's the anime going? And are your Saints going to beat the Jags tomorrow or no? How are we feeling about your Saints at this point in the season? Still coaching, Carmichael, Allen, O-line, still Bootios. But how do you feel? Still the same? Do you still think that you have a chance to win the NFC South with Tampa, or do you think it's Tampa's division? Because I already knew we were going to lose to the Lions. Again, the writing was on the wall, but now it's kind of funny hearing Good Morning Football and all the other outlets. Like, yeah, the Lions are a top 5 team, which I've already been saying for a while, and then even some of them have them as the number 1 team in the NFL. The trajectory is definitely going upwards. But again, like I said, for me, I'm not biased. I call it how I see it. If I think my team is going to lose, like the Ducks against the Huskies, that hurt, but I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know that it was going to be fucking dumbass Dan Lanning, passing on field goals and going for it on 4th down, but I figured it would be the coach, and I figured that the Bucks would lose to the Lions because they're a better team, even with the creamsicles. And I was right. I was 2-0. So, sometimes it sucks when you know your team is going to lose, but again, I'm never going to be biased just because it's my team. If I really think they're going to lose, I'm not going to just pick my team just because they're my team. I'm going to keep it real. Bottom of the third, 4-0 Stros. 2-2 pitch from Javier. Little dribbler towards shortstop to Pena. Got him. You think that they lost to the locker room already? But what happens if you and the Bucks are very close and we're like 1 game away from each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, one team's got 10 wins, one team's got 9, or one team's got 11, one team's got 10, or we get to a point where I'm at 8 wins and you're at 7. I mean, it's still possible. I mean, if I have a couple injuries and I don't have a running game, maybe the Bucks should trade for Derrick Henry because my running game is dog shit. If I had a running game, I would have been able to compete with the Lions. But Rashad White and Vaughn, Keyshawn Vaughn, and then we don't have Fournette anymore. Our running back room sucks. Our O-line is actually pretty good this year, and our defense is good. But the glaring problem for Tampa is the run game. We don't have one. And I would know because I got Rashad White in fantasy. Motherfucker only gets me 6 to 8 points, right? Or he'll end up getting 10 to 20. Like, maybe 1 or 2 games he'll get 10 to 20. And then there'll be like 3 or 4 games of like 7 or 8, which is dog shit, if I'm playing him in fantasy. So. Yeah, but it all depends if Trevor Lawrence plays. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, then the Saints are going to win. If Trevor Lawrence plays, then it could go either way. His knee is a little bit of an issue, supposedly. So, really, Tell me how you feel, bro. I like it because I need to be able to get the opinions of diehards like you and Elliot and a few others. And you see the game a little differently, and you're a little bit more critical of talking shit about the team when they're not doing well. And I love that about you because I feel that I do it too. And some people take it the wrong way. I'll do it about my team. I'll do it about other teams. And it's never, trying to, like cause an argument, or it's not trying to be like a target where I'm trying to like, you target a particular fan of a team or this or that. I just call it how I see it. If the football is good and the coaching is good, then we're not going to have any issues. But if I see something that needs to be pointed out, we need to be able to call out those players or coaches, and you need to hold people accountable. You can't let shit slide just because it's your fucking team, And that's why I really do appreciate it because I feel that you're harsher and more real on the Saints than anybody else that I know. You know what I mean? And I like that because I'm the same way. I'm not going to fucking just like, everything is good, and knowing that my running game is trash, and I act like everything's fine when I know it's not. Like I'm not delusional. I'm not in denial mode. I know what problems the Buccaneers have. Yep. Yeah. And there was one key departure on that O line that I wish that was still there that decided to leave with Armstead and whatnot, but obviously he ended up getting hurt anyways, going to the new team, probably karma. No, I don't think Olave is underrated, but again, just the flow of the offense. I think he, in his mind, he is the number one. So Michael Thomas is no longer elite. So in his mind, they drafted him to be the one. So I feel like when he doesn't get the ball, sometimes he takes plays off. And when Rashid Shaheed makes the plays, I think just like internally, just the competition with wide receivers and corners, I think it pisses him off that he doesn't get the ball enough. I think Olave feels that he needs to be getting like 10 targets a game, but you have to understand if Rashid Shaheed is the guy that's going to blow off the top off the defense and go deep, like a Djax for Philly back in the day. And then you got Michael Thomas running slants and intermediate routes. And even though he's not dominant anymore, he's going to get some looks. And then you're going to have Shockey and Juwan Johnson and Alvin Kamara. Like, you have to realize the team game, and everyone's going to start pointing fingers at each other when shit's not going right, especially when the quarterback doesn't look good, the O-line doesn't look good, Dennis Allen doesn't look good, Carmichael doesn't look good. And then if the defense gives up points, that's the strongest part of the team. But with that being said, motherfuckers get tired. You can't expect DeMario Davis, Cameron Jordan, Lattimore, and all the other guys out there to not get tired. They can't hold teams to 14 or less or 17 or less every game. They're going to try, you know what I mean? But at some point, the offense needs to do their job to give the defense a little bit of a rest. Hell, if they're not getting touchdowns, at least try to get some field goals, and not turnovers. So, yeah. But if he wasn't hurt, right? If he wasn't hurt, I think it would have helped you guys if he was still there. But if he's on the Saints and then he continuously gets hurt like he always does, then it's just a waste of money. Just a guy that's going to be on IR or a guy that's just sitting on the bench collecting a paycheck. I was about to ask you about that too. He seems like he plays up to the competition when it's like Mike Evans or a big name, and then it goes to like a lower opponent, and then he's just kind of lackadaisical. Like they take plays off, and they're not like as intense. If you want to be dominant in the NFL and be known as like a top 10 or top 5 corner, you got to bring it every fucking game. You just can't bring it against Mike Evans and want to get into a fight and punch him in the mouth. And then the next game, like you said, go against like some rando rookie or some free agent guy that's a scrub. And then all of a sudden that guy gets 8 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown on you. Unacceptable. I agree. You got to hold your guys accountable. Top of the fourth, 4-0 Astros. Come on, Mad Max. Where are you? I got roughed up. You're paying for the name, but you're not getting the results. Here's the two of the sleepers that I thought that would do something today. Dubon and then obviously Maldonado. You already know Altuve, Bregman, Jordan, Tucker, Pena. Those guys are money. It's all about the others. What are you going to get, out of Brantley, but specifically, or Abreu, but specifically Dubon and Maldonado, because I feel that those two, no one assumes they're going to do shit ever. Like, they're like, oh, 0 and 4, one hit maybe if they're lucky between two guys, and all the other top guys are expected to get 2, 3, 4 hits. So sometimes those guys don't do that, but it's kind of funny when guys get slept on and then you end up getting Dubon or Maldonado, and they're the ones that start the rally, or the ones that start kind of turning the key in the car and getting that gas going, and getting that momentum going. 4-0 Stros, and this is a must-win game, and they're playing like it. 2-2 pitch from Scherzer. 5-0 Houston. Brothers beating the shit out of him. 100%. That's the leader of the team, over even Carr. Dubon, there you go. Just like I said, man. Your boy's ESP is just fucking on fire today. I knew it, man. Everyone wants to be able to think it's going to be the big name guys. And of course, you're going to get stuff out of Jordan and Altuve, right? But it's those lower name guys, like the last guys that you think that are going to do something. Those will be the guys that step up. And that's exactly what we've had happen today. Both guys, Dubon and Maldonado, have already stepped up. My ESP is on fucking point. But also, too, in fairness, if the offensive line was better, he wouldn't be as trash. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I said, you guys deserve better. Drew Brees was a blessing, but everyone that you've had since then, even Carr, he's not good enough. It's like he's like a Kirk Cousins. It's just not good enough. You can still be ranked 10th through 15th, but if you're always inconsistent, you're going to slide from being 10th to 12th, closer to 15th or 16th, not closer to 10, And I don't think it's a good fit for your guys' team. And like I said, that's just, and obviously, even if the offensive line was better, I just don't like the fit with Carr there. I thought it was going to be a match that would work, a good marriage, but from what I've already seen, I don't think it's going to work. I think you're going to have to be able to move on and get someone better. And I'm not saying Jameis or Taysom Hill is better, because we know they have problems. Taysom fumbling, Jameis throwing picks and stupid-ass throws. So Carr's better than those two, but that's not really saying a whole lot. If you want to win the division and go to the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl, you got to get something better than Carr. And that's I don't think that's a wrong statement. I think Saints fans would agree. Yep. Decision making. And Carr had a horrible line for the Raiders, but he did have Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. So maybe just because the weapons were better and maybe the throws were not great, but there was individual efforts from the core players that were making the plays to make Carr look better, because it's not like he had a good line there. The line was terrible. Like what, Colton Miller? Like you got one offensive lineman on the Raiders, and that's it. So I know you guys got better than that. You got more than one. But again, if the coach is not good, the play calling Carmichael's not good, and then Carr's not good, it's like you do have some of your players that are making some plays. AK looks, you guys, if you would have had AK from the very beginning without the suspension, your record would be better. We already know that. He has been a godsend for you guys. Without AK, you guys are dog shit. With AK, you guys are in almost every game. It really does show you that, even though he might not be considered a top 10 running back anymore, a lot of times he'll still give you flashes of, hey, I'm a top 10 running back still. It's just about consistency. And of course, the O-line isn't helping him either. So, yeah. Taysom, I think, would be doing a better job than Carr. I agree. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. What are they so afraid of to run the slants in the middle? Everything is like fade route, outside, deep, overthrown, underthrown. I've watched every Saint game, this season. Not only do I do the reaction videos, but like I said, you guys are one of my favorite teams to spy on, and I root for the NFC South. So I always watch the Panthers and the Falcons, but specifically, if the Falcons or the Panthers are on, I'm going to skip them and I'm going to do Saints and I'm going to watch them first. So I'm always watching you guys and rooting for you guys, even though I know most Buccaneer fans are like, oh, fuck them. And they're like, oh, fuck us, fuck you, and I get it, but I'm not like most people. And that's why I like to be able to create the good bonds with the Saint fan base because I do call it how I see it, and I'm not going to be biased. I'll tell you when things are good, and we'll agree when shit is bad. But I also will give you guys love, and I'll give you guys the proper credit for guys like Demario Davis that need to get that credit, and no one else will. NFL people don't. Good morning, people. Good morning, football people don't. Nobody gives credit to people like Demario Davis outside the Saints organization or their fan base besides like me. Like I've never heard anybody talk about like that. I don't know. It's just because of the toxic fan base and everyone's just against you guys all the time. But I mean, if anyone should be against you guys, it should be fucking me, but I'm not. Like I appreciate the greatness. And the bottom line is if I see talent and I'm like, I think for just a second, I'm like, okay, if Cameron Jordan wore a Buck jersey, would I like that? Would it be something that I like? And if the answer is yes, then of course I'm gonna love that player. So that's why I love, Lattimore and Cameron Jordan, specifically Demario Davis and Cameron Jordan are going to be my two favorite. I do like Lattimore. I wouldn't say love, but I love Demario, love Cameron Jordan. I like Lattimore. I like Olave, MT13. It's been a tough road. I love AK41. I like Ramchek. So there's quite a few players that I actually kind of vibe and like. So that I would like to have on my own team. So yeah, I agree. Also, it doesn't help when you have a groupie missing a couple field goals. Obviously, Big Nuts Will Lutz is on Denver. He left, and groupie started off pretty hot, but then he had kind of the bugaboo misses, just like Moody did for the Niners. And if you miss two field goals, sometimes you're going to lose a game. Especially when they're crucial. And I get it, 40 yards, 50 yards. Sometimes they're tough. What's your guys' opinion about groupie? You guys like groupie more than Big Nuts Will Lutz, or you wish Big Nuts Will Lutz was back on the team? I think Groupie is a better kicker. I think Big Nuts Will Lutz is kind of has injuries now, and I don't think I can trust him anymore. So I think at this point, you got the most out of Will Lutz, and he's never going to be what he was. You guys used him. Now you realize, hey, we need to move on, and I think that was the right move. But I do feel that if Groupie can't get his shit together, you may be needing to look for a kicker next year because you just can't have guys miss. And I know if a guy's a rookie or he's young or he's brand new to the team, sometimes there's got to be a little bit of a leeway. But from what I've seen up to the last game where he had those couple misses, he's been pretty good. Groupie has been pretty good. He's kind of like Fairbairn, for the Houston Texans. He might not be the biggest name, but most of the time, as long as it's not like 53 and beyond, Fairbairn from the Texans and Groupie from the Saints, they'll make a majority of the kicks. Yeah, they're gonna fuck up a couple times, but it's kickers. Everyone fucks up, right? I honestly, I do too. And if I'm a fan of the Bucks and I'm watching your guys' team and I'm giving you that evaluation, I feel that we usually are pretty spot on. Because I try to do my evaluation as if I was a Saint fan. Like, what would I be? What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? You know, cheap shot. A chip shot, close, 20 to 30 yards, groupie. You got to make that. Don't make me regret having you on the team. But then anything that's like 50 and beyond, if he misses it, no big deal because that's what happens. I mean, hell, even Justin Tucker misses 50 sometimes, But anything that's like, 20 to 35 yards, it's like, I don't care, left hash, right hash, middle, you got to make that. These are critical. We're counting on you. We chose you over Will. Big Nuts Will Lutz. We chose you. So you got to make sure that you're doing your job. So, but overall, I thought he's been doing a pretty good job. Yeah, time to move on. Bottom of the fourth, 5-0 Stros. Dubon, one away. Cyberpunk helping with the shares with Sarah on the X and the Twitter. If you could help out with that too, Elliot, I'd appreciate it. I know you don't really use Twitter and X, but if you could do that, that would help. Anything that people can do to help, on any of the social media platforms. I don't really expect anything on the Facebook side because most people, even here in Oregon, they're more like kind of like low key haters, and whatnot. So Juwan Johnson, yeah, go Ducks. Yeah, it's like even though I got like the biggest sports channel in Oregon, like I don't get treated like it. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's just people that are hating and whatnot, but I mean, obviously, I got goals to be the biggest in Oregon, biggest in Washington, then biggest in California, West Coast. But obviously, that's going to take a lot of time, and you got to be able to get into the algorithm, or unless you have like some famous person that shouts you out or tags you in something, and their fan base ends up seeing what you're doing, and then you have a big jump, or you have a good collab, or something happens, And I know eventually, in due time, things will be good for us. We just have to wait our turn. But golly, man, I've been grinding nonstop. Yeah, Juwan Johnson would have been good, because obviously he's got good hands. He can play wide receiver or tight end. You can line him up outside if you need to, and that's definitely been a piece I think with like Carr also. He loved going to Waller. That was like his security blanket, just like every quarterback. But also Waller was a top five tight end for a while. Within the last couple of years, he's been getting kind of banged up and hurt. So he hasn't really been as good. And I don't think Waller will ever be as good as he was. Like what we saw out of Waller those first couple of years, you're never going to see that again, I don't think. I think now he's just injury riddled and he's just going to start going down in the pecking order. And then guys like Sam Laporta are going to take his spot. So it's like you got Kelsey, you got Mark Andrews, you got George Kittle, and now you don't have Waller in the conversation anymore. You got like Laporta and a few others that have passed him. Yeah, need one. Yeah, but Matt, you're not watching the games though. You know what I mean? These guys actually watch the games, from beginning to end. So unless you're watching Saints games like me or like Calvin or Elliot, then you have to know the context. You're just doing it based off name recognition. Oh, Olave is a good player. He's a good route runner. Ohio State. But when you watch the games, if he takes plays off, and he's not being a good teammate, and he's not doing his job, you have to look at it like that. That's the difference between people that watch football. You can go and you can generalize all you want based off name recognition. Same thing goes in fantasy. Oh, Olave. Oh, he's good. He's good. He's good. But then if you look, he's only getting like 2 targets a game and he's getting like 3 points a game. Why the fuck do you have him in your lineup? You got to be able to make adjustments and you got to be able to give that criticism. Even though the guy is a good player, but if he's not playing well, you just can't just give him the benefit of the doubt if he's being lazy or he's not running his routes or if he's dropping balls or if he's not being a good teammate. Got to know, bro. See that's the thing in sports. If you're gonna make comments, right, you got to be able to watch the games in entirety. You just can't watch a highlight package or just know the guy is a good wide receiver in general, and then and say a comment like that. That's facts. The more that you actually watch the games, the more that you're gonna know. Yeah, well, you got to get on my level. You want to be able to talk about route running and players and whatnot. Because with you generalize a lot just based off what you know. Based off in general. Oh, Keenan Allen is a good player. Mike Evans is a good player, but you actually have to watch each week, week in and week out how things are going. It's because a guy has a reputation of being a great player, or being up and coming like Olave doesn't mean that they can't fall off or if they start being shitty. We just can't give the guy a benefit of the doubt just because he's Chris Olave from the Ohio State University. It's like when Randy Moss was on the Raiders and he took plays off. Fuck that. You know, If you're a Hall of Fame player and you're like top 3, you don't fucking take plays off. You try your hardest when you're with Tom Brady and the Patriots, and then you're on the Raiders and you're taking plays off. Unacceptable. So that's the difference between like knowing general information and digging deep and watching games. And you got to watch more than a highlight reel. Watching a reaction video that I do or an NFL.com, a condensed highlight reel for 15 minutes is not going to show you all the things that are going on, with the receivers or each individual player. You got to do more. And the smarter that you want to be, you got to do more. He's got a toe injury. See, and that way, if you actually watch games in entirety, then you can have a better opinion on what's going on. Not a general opinion, but what's actually going on. That's the difference. Because a lot of people on TV and podcasts, that's what they do. They generalize. They know the guy is a good player. They've seen the stats. They've seen the route running. They've seen the hype. They've seen the people talk about it, but they don't watch the game, so they don't really know what's going on, like on a game in, game out basis. And that's the difference that separates, average fans, and then to the fanatics. There's a different level to this. Thanks, Elliot. I appreciate it. 95 to go. Top of the fifth. 5-0 Astros. Takes a strike. Yeah. He never was going to be the player that he was with Breeze. I think we all came to that conclusion. But he has played better than anticipated this year. He actually has been catching, quite a few footballs, and he looks, pretty healthy. Like he's been a surprise because I think most Saints fans have kind of given up. They're just like, okay, he's out there, but you're almost just waiting for him to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like it happens so often in years past. You're just like, well, we'll see how long it'll last. How long can he play good for before he gets hurt again? That's kind of the mentality I feel for most Saint fans. I'm gonna go get my drink here real quick. Go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Rangers getting smoked. Well, because Dennis Allen ain't a real head coach. He's just a defensive coordinator pretending to be a head coach. Nothing will be like AK-41 and Mark Ingram. That was awesome. The glory days. It's like leadership. When you get people that are true leaders or you get followers, right? You get people that are sheep, that just follow what other people do. You either are a leader, you're a natural born leader and you're born to lead. You just can't take a class where someone can sit down and say, okay, Elliot, now you're a leader. It has to be in your DNA on who you are and your personality. And if you don't have that leadership, you're a fraud. You're going to come across as a fraud because all these words and that you're saying don't match your actions. Actions need to match words. It's like when you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? And whatever the situation is, if the words don't match the actions, it's just bullshit. You know what I mean? You got to be able to make sure that you say something and you stick to your word. And then obviously, if you don't, then people will stop listening. They'll stop caring about you. They're not going to run through a wall for you like they do for Dan Campbell. I 100% agree. He's not a disciplined guy. He's just a guy that they've promoted within, but it was the wrong move. You needed someone with more of a personality as a head coach. I actually just wish Sean Payton would have come back and never left. I think that would have been best for you guys. Just have Sean Payton come back and then coach the Saints for the rest of his career. And then once he's ready to, spend time with family or do TV, then whatever. But I think that staying with the Saints would have been the best, not only for people like me, but for the Saint fan base. And if you weren't able to have that happen, then get someone like him. But a lot of people aren't really like him that are out there. Well, I could have told you that. I mean, it's going to be toxic every day for the rest of the year. Every year, every day, every week. The only time it's not going to be as toxic is when the Seahawks win. But if the Seahawks win, you're still going to get people that are going to be bitching and moaning and complaining about things. But when they're losing, then it's just going to be, toxic all over. That's one thing I'm really happy about, that we don't got that shit here. And when people start being, a toxic or being a hater, I just give them the boot. So, it's like I don't need subs as desperately as all these other channels. I'd rather preserve them, and that way we don't have to deal with any bullshit. So. Yeah, Gino's not the problem. It's the offensive line and the defensive line. If the offensive line was better, Gino would have more time. It's not Gino, it's the O-line. But if you don't know football, then you're a fucking idiot. And then you'll say Gino because you don't know anything. You know? And a lot of times with the defense, you're starting to see like the secondary is starting to make some plays. Sometimes they get exposed, but again, sometimes the D line will make big plays, but sometimes they don't. There's still are holes that need to be filled. The O line isn't done, the D line isn't done, and if you don't have a consistent O line and D line, then you're not going to win a bunch of games. You're going to win some. You can win like the Buccaneers, where we win like maybe 10 games and get a wild card, but we're never going to be considered elite like the Niners or the Eagles or the Lions until you get a good O line and D line and have that good balance. And once the Seahawks have that, then you'll be competing for the Niners for the NFC West crown, 100%. But again, some people are stupid and they don't know football. So, Caleb is either going back to USC, and there's no way that you're going to get Caleb Williams in the draft, nor that they would look at him. If they were smart, they would look at someone. If they were looking at someone, they would get the hometown kid, Michael Penix Jr. If you wanted to actually try to get somebody, that's who you would want to get. That would be a better fit. Staying at home, where all the Husky fans, are already rooting for the Seahawks. But the thing is you guys are going to be too good. Michael Penix Jr. might win the Heisman over Caleb, and he might end up getting picked in the top 10, maybe top 5. Hell, he could be number 1 or number 2. There's no way you're going to get a player like that. Plus, if you already have Gino there, it would be a wasted pick trying to get someone like that or trading your capital. What you need to do is keep working on the O-line and D-line, and then everything else will fall into place. Get more O-line, get more D-line, and eventually another linebacker, another guy in the secondary to maybe replace Jamal Adams because he can't stay healthy, even though he was pretty good last game. It's like you need to be able to just fill the holes, not replace the pieces that are pretty good. Fill the holes that are the problems, and then things fall into place. You have a better O-line, Gino makes more plays. If the O-line gets worse, He's going to take sack lunches. He's going to, have bad interceptions. It's not all going to be on him. So, I mean, I don't need to be a Seahawk fan to be smarter than most of the Seahawk fans that are in that room. You either know football and you know depth or you don't. Most people, they think they know football, but they don't know anything. Like, just because you play fucking Madden online against a bunch of fucking 8-year-olds doesn't mean you're an NFL expert. But to some of these people, that's what it is. Like, oh, I play Madden, so I know everything. Bottom of the fifth, 5-0 Stros. Yeah, you don't even need to really worry about running backs, wide receivers, or quarterback. Maybe a better tight end. Revamp that whole O line, revamp the whole D line, and then add a linebacker and then another corner or safety at some point. After you get the O line and D line figured out, a linebacker here, another safety here, to start filling the holes, and then everything will look great. But you can't do it overnight. It takes years. It's like maybe 1 year you get a couple, and then the next year you get another couple, and then the next year, and then at that point, 2-3 years down the road, if Geno is still there, then you're going to be able to have that run where you're going to be able to compete with the Niners for the NFC West crown. And instead of being like a 10-win team, 9, 10, 11-win team, then maybe you could be a 12 or 13-win team. And that's when you know that you're going to go a little bit further. So. Because most people don't really realize how football works. They don't realize how important the O-line and D-line really is. Back, back, back. Go on, baby. There we go. Rangers with a homer. Wow. Finally. Josh Young. Bang, baby. 5-2 Stros. There we go. There we go. Another underrated player in the 8-hole, making a play that no one thought that he would. Next up, center fielder Leody Taveras. Nice job. Okay, baby. Now we have a little bit of a game now. Okay. Center fielder Leody Taveras. 5-2 Stros. Bottom of the fifth, 2 outs, 2-1 pitch to Taveras. Much better than that 10-0 game that we did yesterday. End of the fifth inning, 5-2 Astros. Nice to see the Rangers with a little bit of fight. Yes, absolutely. I was waiting for it, and I was like, okay, who's going to be the low-name guy that starts it off? Because that's just how the vibe has been, I feel, today. Like, who's going to be that, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9-hole guy that no one thinks is going to do shit, and then all of a sudden they do something special, and then it starts and sparks the team a little bit. Like Maldonado for the Astros, then you got it there with Josh Young in the 8-hole. I mean, I honestly feel if you come in here to this room, you're going to be a lot smarter than any other, channel. Because I mean, there's a lot of channels that are out there, but I don't think you can get as much knowledge, We're not going to be biased. Everyone's going to have bias in their favorite players, and that's fine. But I'm always going to call it straight shooter. What I see is what you get, no bias, and I feel that you can learn a lot more here than you can on most channels. You can really get an outside perspective that makes sense. You know, even if you don't agree right away, you can see where I'm coming from because I have nothing to gain. I'm not being paid by anybody to say anything a certain way. Like the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl every year, like Stephen A. or fucking Skip and Shannon when they were doing their show where it was all fake, fake, fake. Yeah, but it's always going to be about O line and D line. It's like you can have all these great pieces like Kenneth Walker III and Charbonnet and Jackson Smith Najigba, DK, and Lockett. But if you actually had less of those guys and a better O line, the team would be better. It's like you don't need all these flashy pieces. Like the flashy pieces are nice and they're popular, but if you actually had like 3 Pro Bowl linemen and then you take away a couple of the running backs and the receivers and you move around some of the pieces and you actually have a better O line, you're going to win 2 or 3 more games just based off that. It's like you don't necessarily need a DK and a Lockett. Like it's great that you have 2, and whatnot. But if you had like only 1 and then you ended up having a better O line, you're going to win more games. You're going to have guys that are going to be able to run block, pass block. You're going to give Geno more time. But again, a lot of teams go for the splash players that are sexy. It's not sexy drafting O linemen or D linemen. It's a little bit more sexier because it's like it could be a sack lunch artist or someone that can disrupt the run game and whatnot. But O line and D line run everything. If you got good ones, you're going to be good. If you don't, then there probably are going to be games where you're going to get exposed. So. Jordan Alvarez in the box. Uh-oh, back, back, back. Oh, did he get it? Oh, baby. No way. Electric home run save. Wow. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Wow. That was very Griffey like, very Julio Rodriguez like. What a catch. Oh, baby. What timing. I mean, it was going out like the exit velocity was like boom, boom. I mean, it was going. Like if he doesn't put his glove up, I mean, it's it's not one of those ones where it's like about to drop and you can just go up and get it and then it's just gonna go. Like no, it was going where it's over the wall. You either got it or in that exact spot or it's a home run. That was awesome, Uncle Mo. I mean, it shows you too. There's different levels of intelligence in football. Where you can be like an expert, like on one thing with like route running and positioning and releases. But then you also have to look at the people on the channel that follow their teams and players, and then also someone like me that covers like all 32 as if they were my own. Think about how much work that takes, how much reading, how much film to not be biased and to know everything that's going on every fucking team. No one on YouTube or Twitch has that dedication, or people on TV. They read shit off the internet, the teleprompters. They aren't willing to put in the work because it's a lot of fucking work. It takes a lot of time. It's like you either love it or you don't. And a lot of people don't like to work. So a lot of people are lazy. They like to cut corners. Well, all of us can have idiot moments from time to time, or we can all have opinions that sometimes are right and sometimes they're wrong, or sometimes we can have an opinion and then it can change. Just because we say something now doesn't mean I'm going to think the same thing next year. Like, I knew Myers was going to be the sleeper fantasy guy last year. I picked him up. He helped me out. And then this year, I knew he wasn't going to be. And sometimes your opinion changes. You know, that's what makes it interesting. Just like when players change, opinions change. Sometimes things need to be adjusted. You got to be able to have an open mind sometimes. Taking a look to see what other scores. If there's anything else going on in the NBA or any scores or anything, let me know. We got Jags Saints tomorrow, which will be exciting. And we got Browns Colts, Bills Patriots, Commanders Giants, Lions Ravens will be good. Raiders Bears, Falcons Bucks will be good. Steelers Rams, Cardinals Seahawks, Packers Broncos, Chargers Chiefs will be pretty good. Dolphins Eagles will be good on Sunday night. So I will be doing Sunday night football this week. And then we got Niners and Vikings. It would have been cool to see Jay Jetta. So yeah, I just think for you, Megan, it's like you can be Seahawks and Pete, and be biased, and those are your guys and your team. One thing, maybe not on that stream with the 12s, but here, if we ever say anything critical, about Pete or Schneider or the team, you have to realize that it's not an attack. But when you love a team and players so much, or coaches, most people take it as an attack because they can't handle the criticism, even if it's constructive or if it's honest. Most people, have to be like, no, no, that's not true. No, but sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be like, you know what, maybe that is true. Sometimes your love for a player or a team, you have to be able to look in the mirror and realize they're not going to do everything right. They are going to make mistakes. And if they do make mistakes and it gets called out, you got to own up to it and be like, yeah, you're right. Instead of just denying, deny, and acting like whatever that person is saying isn't true. Now, if it comes from this room, it's probably going to be true. If it comes from like the Seahawk room with the 12s over there, you're going to get correct opinions and you're going to get dumbasses that think they know football. So, and I think a lot of people are going to be that way. It's like if you're really biased for like coaches, players, and your team and your guys, you got to be able to handle that honest criticism if it's true. And I think most hardcore fans have that problem. They can't. They just take it as an attack that, oh, you're attacking my favorite coach or favorite player. They're not taking the time to realize that maybe the statement is true. And I think a lot of hardcore fans that are biased are that way. And if we can learn not to take it as an attack and just realize what the person is saying is not trying to be negative or start a fight or picking on a certain thing, it's just that's what it is. But we love our things so much that it sometimes comes across as an attack, but it's not, especially if it comes from us here or me. But if it comes from somewhere else, then who knows? They're probably trolling or talking shit. So, yeah, Netflix is overrated. Hulu and Amazon Prime. Those are the two best to put money on. And then I obviously have Peacock for WWE. But I mean, if Peacock wasn't on WWE, I wouldn't pay for it. But I definitely would do Prime and Hulu. But I don't know. For me, I just read personalities really, really well. That's why I'm a people person, and I feel I can talk, to anyone of any age, any race, anywhere across the globe. I did phone sales for 20 years, so I met and talked to, every race of every age of every asshole or nice person on planet Earth. So you start to realize different types of personalities and what they like and what they don't like and how their brain kind of functions and works. Everyone's brain is a little different, you know. But if you're able to get into the shoes of another person, that's when you're able to connect. And that's the problem with most people. They don't know how. They don't have the empathy or the sympathy. They don't know how to get into someone else's shoes. That's why there's not a lot of really good coaches, or mentors or, psychologists or therapists. It has to be more than just, oh, money. You have to actually genuinely care. Top of the sixth, 5-2 Stros, 2 outs, runner at first, 1-2 count. Dubon in the box, Stratton. No relation to Tiffany. Dubon All the way to the wall. Got him. All right, let's go to the bottom of the sixth. Anything else going on in the sport world? I'm gonna take a quick peek to see what else we got going on. All right, what do we got going on in the NBA? We only have a few games. Brooklyn and Miami. Aces and Liberty for WNBA. Washington, New York. Sacramento and Golden State are coming on in 15 minutes. I'll probably turn that on for a little bit. I wonder if Wemby's playing. Let me check. If Wemby's playing, I wouldn't mind taking a peek. Wemby, are you playing? 20 minutes. He's got 15 points. All right, remind me in 15 minutes that Warriors. Let me look at NHL. Oh, Detroit's up 4-2 on Pittsburgh. Wow. That's on TNT. Maybe I could tune into that for a second. See Sidney Crosby out there. I saw those. All right, let's go to the bottom of the sixth. Now, I'm excited for tomorrow, though, with the Jags and Saints. We actually have a matchup where I enjoy both of those teams. And I hope Trevor Lawrence's knee is okay and he plays. It should be fun. I mean, I don't think it's going to be high scoring where it's going to be like 34-31 or anything like that. But hopefully we have, a few big plays on defense and a few big plays on offense. So bottom of the sixth, 5-2 Stros. Popped up. Out of play. Seager, baby. 0-1 pitch to Seager. Popped up. Oh, they're lucky. Off the bounce. Pitch is low. 2-2 count. All right. Take care. Talk soon. Appreciate you. Sting's last match. Yeah, I haven't got a chance really to watch as much as Dynamite and Raw and SmackDown. I mean, obviously, I try to watch, as much as I can, but just based off the move and grinding every day, it's like I don't really have as much time to watch wrestling as I used to. Two pitch. Pitch is high. 3-2 count. Oh, Seager. Pop up all the way back to the warning track. Got him. 2 away. Next up, left fielder Evan Carter. Penn State, Ohio State. I'll be up at 9 a.m. watching that. Texas and Houston. Texas by 1 billion. And then Utah, USC, which should be very, very good. Could go either way. Would assume that USC will win at home. I mean, if Utah had Cameron Rising and everything was, no injuries and whatnot, then Utah would be ranked much, much higher. They would definitely be up there in contention for the Pac-12 crown again, like they have been the last couple of years. But no Cameron Rising and a lack of a potent offense, and the defense and running game not as good as years past. And you're still a top 25 team, but you're not the same Utah team that we're used to in the last couple of years, like going to the Rose Bowl. Oregon, Washington State, that'll be good. Like I said, Washington State is always a sleeper every year, but we're going to come back with a vengeance, and we're going to beat the shit out of them. So especially after those stupid calls out of Dan Lanning. So we'll definitely take care of business. Now, if we were playing in Pullman, it would be upset alert, because it doesn't even matter if we're ranked number 1, number 2, number 3, and they're unranked. Washington State in Pullman is tough. But if we're playing them at home at Autzen, we'll blow them out. 1-2 pitch. Pitch is outside. 2-2 count. Yeah, Penn State, Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, it won't be good unless Penn State wins. If Penn State wins, then it'll be great for college football. Really see, newbies come up there and kind of make a name for themselves. We always assume Michigan and Ohio State are going to make it, to the playoff, but it's kind of nice to be able to see someone new up there, even if it is a Penn State. I mean, Ohio State's the better team, so I would assume that they're going to end up winning, but you never know. We'll have to see how Penn State's defense is. If they play up to the challenge, Penn State can win. But that crowd is going to be very electric for Ohio State. I assume that's where game day will be. Yeah, but as long as we have Dan Lanning, it's not like we would win if we ended up making it to the Pac-12 championship game. We'd lose again. It's like playing Utah and then playing them again in the Pac-12 championship. What happened? We got our ass kicked twice against Utah. We wouldn't get our ass kicked against Washington. It would be close, 7-point game or less. But if Dan Lanning and company is calling the plays, we're fucked. There's no way that we're going to be able to beat a team like that, based off the play calling. Some coaches and play callers are good, and some are stupid, and we have stupid people running our team. So they will never have my support. Mario, no. Lanning, no. It's Mike Bellotti and Chip. Fuck everybody else. Rich Brooks, Mike Bellotti, Chip Kelly. Fuck everybody else. Fuck Willie Taggart. Fuck everybody. Fucking Helfrich. Fuck him. And I actually did like Crystal Ball the most out of all the coaches that we've had since Chip. He was my favorite. But obviously, he's not a very good decision maker with play calling either. If he's willing to run a play, have the team fumble, and then all you had to do was kneel it, you win the game, and you've done it twice. So it's like if you haven't learned your lesson, then you're a fucking moron. No, he hasn't. He's an idiot. You can't act like you're Chip Kelly if you don't have Chip Kelly pieces. There's a time and a place. And if there's no LaMichael James and there's no DeAnthony Thomas, what the fuck are you doing? And even then, you have to be very precise on when you end up calling the trick play or going for it. You just can't go for it in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Like act like you're like the best team in college football and you can just do whatever you want, bully anyone you want. It doesn't work like that. The idiot. He'll never have my support. Bop, bop, bop. So good, so good, so good. Bop, bop. We got another sub. That's always good. Donos, are going to be challenging from time to time. Some days, we'll hit some amazing numbers. Other days, it's a little bit of a struggle. But as long as we're moving in the right direction, more subs could lead to hopefully more goats. Not every sub is going to be a goat, but you would think if we keep growing, there's got to be some out there, that can fill the hole for the others that left the void. It'd be awesome for us to be able to get back to having 10 goats and having most of them in the room almost every day. Once we can get to that point, then we're going to be hitting 100 to 200 every day, no problem. And we're going to be getting subs, we're going to get views, we're going to have great vibe, great streams. Not that the streams aren't great, but obviously if you have 10 goats in the room, it'll definitely make things a lot more interesting, and it'll increase the vibe overall. So that's the goal. We got to get to 10 goats. But who knows how many hundreds or thousands of subs that we're going to have to get to find those 10. Might have to go through thousands of people sub-wise to find them. I think I need to go mob around in some Grand Theft Auto. All right, hold on. I got to turn Grand Theft Auto Vice City on. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. And then obviously with this matchup, you already know what it is here. Phillies. Man, these games though, like to bust out this PS2. I mean, I got a fire collection. All right, let's take a peek here. All right, so NBA Live 06, March Madness 02. I got a college basketball game, 2K, 2K2, NCAA 2005, Madden, NFL Blitz, PlayStation, a couple Resident Evils, Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, NBA Street, NBA Live 98, NHL 2002, Gran Turismo 3, Tekken Tag, SmackDown 2, Time Splitters, Omnimusha. Let's go. ATV, Metal Gear Solid 2, Silent Hill 2, Knockout Kings, SSX. I like a little bit of everything. Snowboarding, ATV, hockey, basketball, some shooters. Nothing like Vice City, man. The best part about Vice City, to me, like being the best, is like it's a soundtrack. I love like the Michael Jackson and like that Dexter vibe. Anytime you're like mobbing around in Miami and they have it based off that, game over, man. Like I can just mob around in the cars and do whatever, and yeah, it's so money. Oh, the boats, the missions are so dope. Even though the graphics are not like, Grand Theft Auto 5 and whatnot, like even though the graphics are a little, choppy. I mean, fuck for PlayStation 2, whatever, it's like I still enjoy it a lot. I was like, I have to go dig out my stuff. Ooh, grilled cheese. Well, I mean, like I said, trust is earned, and if you keep, betraying my trust, regardless if it's like, a relationship with a girlfriend or a friend in general, or it's like a favorite player or coach, and eventually, I'll try to, forgive and forget. But a lot of times, I might forgive, but I probably won't, and I definitely won't fucking forget. You know what I'm saying? Oh, really? Shit. I wish I was rich. I'd just fly you out here and we could just like chill. We could just like listen to music and whatnot and then fucking play some old school games and shit. Turn on some history, Discovery, Nat Geo, Vice Channel, listen to some music. I gotta load my file here. Oh man, the Vice City is so money, and San Andreas is money too. If you're ever gonna go to someone's house for like PlayStation 2, ask to play San Andreas or Vice City, and you'll be like, "Whoa!" I was like, the graphics are a little shoddy. You got to think this is like 20 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, PlayStation 2, but I mean, it still holds up. I got to load my file here, and let's see, I loaded it. I have a let me see, load game. It's called, I'm on distribution or Copland, and my last save was October 6th of 2010. So I got to load it, and I got fucking all the guns, like fucking machetes, handguns, fucking AK, fucking like bazookas. Like I mobbed at this game. I remember when this game came out. This game has given me a lot of joy. I have a lot of properties. Let me see what I got. A machete. I got some like grenades. I got 28 out of like a Magnum, fucking 189 out of the double pump shotty, and then I got 964 out of like the little AK, and then another one was 700 with the AK, and then I got like kind of like a semi-automatic, like a little. It's more of like an AR semi, and like a bazooka, and then some other kind of like fucking rocket launcher jump off. And I'm all dressed in like the Tony Montana suit with the purple and the black. Five two Astros. Little chopper. Routine playing. One away. All right, I got to go outside here. I got to see it. And I love it when it goes from night and day. So it's like you don't even have to do the missions or the side missions. You can just mob around. Or if you want to just like try to start some crimes, you can just start punching people or, taking the cars or whatever. But I like to be able to like find the Lambos and the motorcycles and the different vehicles. Like there's people that are like rollerblading next to me right here. People with their shirt off and like little Speedos, and I'm all dressed like Tony Montana with a full suit. All right, I need a vehicle. Oh, there's a motorcycle. I got to get that. All right. But the radio stations is the best part. Like the Michael Jackson 80s stuff on there. It's like, oh, there we go. Oh, oh, it's just one of those fucking scooters. I thought it was like a Ducati. I was running them over. Boom. See you later. Oh, now I got 1 star. I swear, man. Like if you have stress, you can always do the Madden and the college football, or you can go like 2K, or like shooters. But man, mobbing around in an open world like Grand Theft, nothing better. Oh, Corvette. Oh, cop is there. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. See ya. All right, 5-2 Stros. Oh yeah, 2 stars. They're after me now. I've been wanting to dig this up too for like a month, but I finally dug it up. I'm all over the place. Hi, Paisley. Oh shit! Get out of there. Oh, for sure. Yeah, the online mode. Yeah, I like the stories. It's like when you first buy the game, instead of like doing the online, like doing the missions and going through to see like the cutscenes, and the different things, the scenarios that come up, and yeah, I like that part of it too, for sure. You have to be kind of like it's like watching a show though. You know what I mean? Like once you start it, it's like watching a show. You have to like keep going. It takes commitment. If you like decide to like play and then all of a sudden you go to another game and then sometimes you get distracted and then you start something else and then, all of a sudden you forget about it. All right, I'm gonna go back to the game. I can always play Grand Theft later. Paisley's all in here too now. She's like, Daddy. All right. Top of the 7th, 5-2 Stros. We haven't missed anything. Of Dad. Oh, nice. It's crazy too, because like with Paisley, she's such a shy girl. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times she has like this like big bark, or she'll jump up, and the back of her hair will get like dark when she gets like scared or like threatened and whatnot. But always has like never barks in the house. Like like such the most calm, relaxed dog on planet Earth. Like just little whimpers and moans and stuff, like when she wants food or needs to go outside to go to the bathroom or whatever. But like tell her to go sit on the couch and relax, and she'll sit there and not move or not make any noise for like 3 hours. Like how many dogs would do that? Like she's very trained. We spend a lot of time together, so. Oh, for sure. That's why you got to go back and you got to get like a PS2 and play like Vice City or San Andreas. To me, those are just as good as 5. 5 is going to have better graphics, and obviously with the story mode, it's going to be the engine of the graphics and everything that entailed into Grand Theft Auto 5. You already know what it is, right? But if you end up going back and getting San Andreas, the California version, it's the story is good, the levels are cool, you'll love it. And Vice City the same way. So if you want like a Dexter vibe, Miami, Tony Montana, Scarface vibe, Vice City, that's my favorite. And then the San Andreas is like the California hood vibe. So they got like the rap songs or like when you're like riding around in the cars and stuff, it's more like hip hop themed and stuff. And then when you do Vice City, it's more like 80s themed with it and stuff. So it's pretty cool. You should borrow it, dude. Trust me. Especially if you're just looking for something new, to get into, especially if you've never played it. I think you would love it, man. Like I said, you have to realize it's not going to look like Grand Theft Auto 5, but some of the way that the missions are set up, it's awesome. I mean, I even have 3, and 3 was cool because I remember I was one of the first ones to play it, and I played it when it was on PC, number 1 and number 2, and it was like a top view. So when you were jacking the cars, you were like a little stick figure, and you were like jacking the cars from the top view, like you were on the top of a building looking down, and that's how you did missions. And it was still fun, and that was like 1 and 2 because they never had a game really like that before. And then they made it 3D in Grand Theft Auto 3, and then we started to realize, wow, like this is insane. It's like playing Mario 1, 2, or 3 side scrolling, and then playing Mario 64 on the 64. It's like, it's just like mind blown. Like being able to move Mario like anywhere I want, not just side scrolling. It was like a fucking game changer. So yeah, but I think you should, man. That's what I'm going to be on. I'm watching Dexter and trying to finish up on that. I got like 2 or 3 seasons left of that, and then I'll probably do Sons of Anarchy or something else, and then I'm definitely going to be getting in to the PlayStation because I got PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2. I got 20, so that's a lot of games to go through. Even if I'm just fucking around and I get bored, oh, let me try this game out for 10 minutes, or fuck this game. Oh, I can try this one. I can play a basketball, baseball, football. And then the cool thing is I have like snowboarding and SSX, which is underrated. But then the ATV game that I have is actually really underrated because like I had a lot of friends out here in the Pacific Northwest that had like Banshees, and they would like go to the sand dunes and they would trick out their Banshees like cars. So it'd be like chrome swing arm, chrome exhaust, like all the decals, all the suits and everything. And it's expensive. Like some of those quads can be like 10 grand or more, and then if you put in 10 grand in it, then it's like you have this like 20 grand fucking vehicle that you're mobbing around in that costs more than some people's cars and whatnot. But very, very cool. But the ATV game's got really good feel, and when you're doing the jumps and you're going through, like you actually feel with the PS2 controller that you're like in the ATV. That's what made PlayStation so good, is that when you move the analog sticks, it felt like you were in a car or you're in a boat or you're on an ATV or and I feel like a lot of systems they don't really have it, but that's what PlayStation really got right from the very beginning. They always made you feel that the guy was the guy running, or running like either like in a level or like in like a Madden or like a 2K, but also just the availability and the freedom that you had and like the touch, like how touchy it was if it was a vehicle in those games. Some systems do it better than others, but PlayStation was always top notch. I've only owned one Xbox 360, and it got the red eye after 6 months, and I never bought an Xbox ever again. And when I bought the Xbox, I bought like fucking 5 to 10 games, so I was heartbroken. I was like, oh, I can't invest in this shit. I got to go stick with my cousins, making the PlayStation in Japan. So, I've had every PlayStation except the newest one. So, and I waited. I was the first one at my school to get one here in Oregon. I was the only one, to get one. I got it like literally when it first came out, and that was still when like 64 was still pretty popular. I was playing PlayStation when all the other friends were playing 64. It was insane. And then I remember I waited in line at Electronic Fry for like 3 hours in the cold, and they only had 20 PlayStation 2s on the opening night. And I stayed out there from like 11 or 10 all the way to like 2, 3 in the morning. And there was like 400 people in line, and I was number 20. I actually got the last PlayStation 2, 20 of 20, and these motherfuckers tried to cut in front of me. I was like, fuck no. I was like, I've been here for fucking 4 hours. Nice try. I got the last voucher, and I remember I went in there and I bought Madden 2001 extra controller, and I might have bought another game too, but I know I bought Madden. That was the first one that I was like, yes, I'm gonna get this, and then I stayed up for like 2 days just playing it. It was awesome. Xbox is dope. They have cool games. I really liked the Call of Duties on Xbox and also Gears of War. I think that is an amazing series. I remember playing Gears of War when it first came out, and me and my buddy stayed up all night to beat it. And I was like, we're not sleeping. I was like, I don't give a shit. I was like, we can drink or smoke or whatever. Like, we're beating this. And I normally don't get that way unless I love the game. And shooters like Call of Duty with the realism were cool, but then you have the futuristic Gears of War feel, and I love that shit. Like going through the levels together, and the graphics are awesome, and you actually have to use strategy, and it has kind of like a cartoonish feel to it, but it's like an arcade feel. Gears of War, so underrated. Nice. PS3. All right, let me switch streams here real quick. Yeah, but I've always been a gamer. When I started having my dream, like I probably stopped being a gamer like around that time, just because I think I knew 7-2 Astros. Wow, Jordan Alvarez being Jordan. I mean, what's new? You already knew. He's like, I'm holding it down. When Aaron Judge isn't the MVP, typically you would think, okay, well, if it's not him, who else is doing really good in the American League? And this should be the number 2 guy you look at next to Aaron Judge every year. It's like, yeah, there's Mike Trout. Yeah, obviously Ohtani, depending on where he ends up too, is up there as well. Judge, Ohtani, Jordan. And then hopefully we can have Julio join that conversation, but this guy is something else. Yeah, but I'm definitely excited to get into this PlayStation because I was like, I have to like go through all the watches. I have Sega Genesis, 64. I think 64 will be the next system that I dig out and play. But if I got 20 games, and it's funny too because like I like playing the old PlayStation stuff. Like I have NBA Live '98 for the PlayStation One, and that one is like so good. Like the way that you play that, it's got like Rasheed Wallace in it and Sabonis. So I'm like Kenny Anderson, Isaiah Ryder. I'm like, yes. I was like, give me this kind of like the Jailblazer era. And then I have one of the early 2Ks, like 2K2, and that has a different type of vibe and feel. And then NHL with the hockey games are always fun. But it's like I have to have a little wide variety of everything. Yeah, I mean, I used to play. I had an Atari 2600, Nintendo, Genesis, PlayStation, 64. Yeah, I had pretty much almost everything except for Super Nintendo. Growing up. I wish I still had my original Dreamcast. That's the one I regret getting rid of. That's the one that I'm going to buy. Out of all the systems, to me, like the most valuable retro, PS2, as far as classic, you can play PS1 games on it too, so you're good there. But PS2, Nintendo 64, original Nintendo, NES, Sega. Sega's great too. Super Nintendo's great, and then I think Dreamcast. Like Dreamcast, as far as like the one of the more next gen upgrades. I feel like Dreamcast is incredibly underrated, and it is a Sega product. So if you love Sega, which I do, because I was a big Genesis guy over Super Nintendo, I had my other friends that had Mario Kart, but I was a Mortal Kombat. I was a Sega, all day Sega, and then the Dreamcast gave me that Sega love, but on better graphics. So I'm like, yes, I'm so invested. And then, like I said, I want to get that back. I need to get the bass fishing games with the controller that vibrates, and you can you're reeling, and it's amazing. Like I never thought that I would like love a fishing game on a system, but that one is done so well, like tournament style. You can like go to a different spot, boom, you get your reel in there. It shows underwater with your reel, so you can see like the fish coming and like the underwater life, and the graphics are amazing. The sound is amazing. So it's not like some boring fishing game. It's like tournament style, like you're trying to be a pro fisher, like and get the biggest bass and everything. And it's like surprisingly fun. Like I remember playing it and I'm like, this is not going to be that cool. And then I played it and I was like, oh my god, I was like hooked. I was like 3 hours in. I'm like, oh my god. But that is the one that I want to play. And then they have plenty of other original games on that console that are amazing. Got to get myself a Dreamcast at one of these points. NES, Atari, Genesis, PS1, 2, 3X. Nice. Nice. You're like me then. I don't have my original NES, but I ended up getting one afterwards and then replenishing a lot of the games that I had when I was a kid. I don't have my Atari anymore. I sold my Atari and my original Nintendo to my neighbor with him and his sister, and I don't know if they still have it to this day. But I pretty much have everything that I had when I was a child, besides an Atari 2600, because I don't really have. I used to have a lot of games too, like 10 or 20 games, not just like asteroids, but I had like baseball, basketball, football, hockey. But my favorite game was Jungle Hunt. I remember getting Jungle Hunt and be like, oh my God, these graphics are amazing. Kind of like a pitfall. And you'd have to jump over the boulders, swing on the vines, hard as hell. Kung Fu was another one that was fucking hard as shit, but I love that. Um, but I think that if I was ever going to invest, I was like, I'd rather put that money towards the Dreamcast, because I think the sport games, the original content, and just what Sega is about, like, I kind of wish Sega was still on board, so that we, have Xbox, we have PlayStation, you have Nintendo with like the Wii and the Switch and all that. But I wish Sega, had their Dreamcast on another level. I would buy fucking A. I've always been a Nintendo guy too, but a Sega Dreamcast came out with a Sega Dreamcast 720, and it's the brand new thing to compete with Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. I would buy one if they did it right and got the right developers and the games were good and it was like a Dreamcast but just better graphics. Fuck yeah, I'd be on board. Kung Fu was hard as shit. So hard, dude. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then you with the leg. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then you get to the bosses. God damn, and it's that soundtrack. Like, when you're going through the level and then you have to jump over the snakes and shit. Like, I have so many memories. Like, obviously, being, an Asian kid, obviously, I mean, hours and hours and hours. And you don't even have to run that stereotype. I mean, you could be white, black, Mexican, Asian. But the Asian stereotype of like the video game thing, it's fucking so true. Double Dragon 2. Absolutely. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. I mean, there's a couple of Ninja Turtle ones that were fire too. Popped up, routine play for Tucker, one away. Ninja, yeah, Ninja Gaiden was hard as shit. Yeah, Double Dragon, Mega Man, Metroid, Zelda. And for me, I was such a well-rounded person. I had friends of every race, of every interest. So it's like I'd have like the car people, so we could do like the Gran Turismo thing, or we could do like Road Rash, where you would like ride on the motorcycles, but you had chains and you would like knock each other over, or like Road Blasters. But then I also have like the nerdy friends that like anime that would want to do like Zelda, and I was like, okay, cool, and I could get into that. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy. Not every kid that loves sports can do a Final Fantasy or a Final. I still have my Final Fantasy 7, but like, it just depends on what type of style that you like. But I always like to give RPGs and stuff that I could try. I figured like if I didn't try Pogs or Magic the Gathering, I wouldn't really know what that world is about. So I was always involved in everything. Pogs, I loved them. Magic the Gathering, I was good. Shit, I used to hustle people, and I'd be like, "Oh, give me your Shivan Dragon," and I would bet card for card. So I would try to do it like when I collected basketball, baseball, football cards. Oh, I'm trying to get the Jerry Rice rookie. Oh, I'm trying to get the Barry Sanders rookie. Oh, give me that Leviathan. Oh, I'll bet you for that Force of Nature. If you know Magic the Gathering, then these things mean something to you. But if they don't, like Shivan Dragon was like the top red card in the red deck. Force of Nature was like the top green card in the green deck. Leviathan was like the top blue card in the blue deck. So it's like you always were trying to find those cards that were worth like 10 to 50 bucks, because if you ended up having that and you use that when you played someone, it doesn't matter if they're biggest nerd on planet Earth, you're going to beat their ass and you're going to win. And, if you have some type of strategy and whatnot. But I always like to kind of do the fighting side scrolling games as well. But like Double Dragon, yes, absolutely. Ninja was hard. Karate Kid, like getting the flies with the chopsticks. Definitely, it was definitely tough. Yeah, Tekken Tag. Yep, I love Tekken Tag. I could still play that. I have it on the PS2. I can still play that. I have everything unlocked too, so I have like 40 people to choose from. and it still holds up to this day. Tekken Tag, like you could play it, and you're like, damn, this is still like hella fun. Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage was just as good as Double Dragon, if not better. They were up there. Karate Champ, Battletoads, Battletoads Double Dragon. But the best one out of everything to me was River City Ransom. Did you ever play that? If you ever invested in Nintendo, find that game. You're gonna have to pay money for it, and it's expensive, but it is one of the best like fighting games. You have like these kind of like chubbier characters. You use bats and weapons, and it's kind of like a Double Dragon, Streets of Rage style. But I feel almost just as fun, if not funner. And that was on the original NES. River City Ransom. If you haven't looked it up, watch it on like YouTube. It is amazing. Like it's one of those games that even if I had today, I could play it for hours and not get bored. Sound effects are dope. Weapons are cool. Levels are cool. The way that the fighting with the other characters is set up. Mario 3, oh, that's goated too. You can end up using the raccoon suit. You can get in the frog suit, do the frog levels. Yeah, amazing, dude. I mean, the only thing that Mario 2 has on it, back, gone. Nice. Big homer. 2-run shot for Josh Young again. 2 homers in the same game. Single-handedly, 4 runs, baby. Nice job, Josh. But like I was saying, Mario 2 let you have 4 characters. Mario didn't. You were like Mario 3, you're Mario or Luigi. I thought it was dope playing Mario 2 that I could be Mario or Luigi, but if I really wanted to get froggy and be different, I'll be Princess or I'll be Toad. And I thought that was just like super cool for a game to be that old to give you 4 options. I mean, games didn't do that back then. They gave you 1 or 2, and that was it. So I thought that was the end of the levels in Mario 2 are epic. Like I feel Mario 1 is an introduction, with Duck Hunt. Mario 2, I think is a 10 out of 10 because of the ability of the 4 characters and the levels and the way that the music is set up. But if you're talking about levels, music, iconic, the best of the best of the best. Yeah. And it's crazy. If you end up buying some of those bootleg Nintendos, they actually have Mario 4, Mario 5, Mario 6, Mario 8. And what it is, it's like a Japanese version of the Mario, right? And it's like what you remember Mario being like back in the day, but it's kind of like Mario 64, but it's side scrolling, better graphics, and it's insanity. And I've played quite a few of them. They're crazy. It's like imagine playing Mario 3, but the graphics are bigger. Like each guy is magnified, and it's like the levels are even more detailed. Crazy stuff. The raccoon. I don't know. Raccoon tail and flying was cool, but to me, I thought the coolest part was the frog suit because you don't really do a lot of the water levels, and to be able to go underwater, and most people didn't get access to the frog suit that often. That's why they don't really remember it. It was fucking hard to get. Raccoon suit was more common. You know. Yeah. Oh my God. Power Punch too. Holy shit. Dragon Ball Z, Batman, Indiana Jones, WrestleMania, Steel Cage. Oh my God. Splatterhouse. Ring King. Oh my God. Now I'm really going back. Battletoads, Punch Out, Altered Beast from Sega. Oh my God. So many memories. WCW wrestling. Loved it. Bad Dudes. Oh my gosh. Now I'm just like going back, like just fucking back in time. The battleships. Oh my gosh, yes. So it was so hard. It was the ships that were in the air. It was like you had to float in the air, and the ships were like in the air. Fuck, man. So yeah, so many tough levels. Yeah, but of course, if you didn't have the flying suit, you wouldn't be able to goddamn beat that game. Like there's certain points in that game by jumping ain't fucking cutting it. Yeah. It's cool to be able to like talk to people that they know. Like I said, if you're around 36 to 44, then you're gonna know. But if you're not, then you're totally out of the loop. Me too. Yeah, Asteroids. I remember sitting down on the carpet and playing it. But the Jungle Hunt was the one that got me the most excited because I remember when we bought it at Toys R Us. I think we ended up buying it for like $50, $60, and that was an Atari game back in like the '80s. I was like, damn, this is kind of but the graphics were so cool, and I was like, man, this is sweet. And then I always imagined what video games would look like, and then getting like Tomb Raider, and then Resident Evil, and then playing like Twisted Metal 2. That was like life changing. Like once I got to that point, I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I've been dreaming. Seeing graphics like literally stick figures, and then playing something like Resident Evil 2, or even Tomb Raider when it came out, which wasn't as bloody, but it was like the levels were so cool. Um, and then getting Twisted Metal 2. I can't even tell you how many hours I played on that. I mean, that's something I don't own, but I need to go to like the video game store and pick those up because I would definitely get a lot of joy, a lot of nostalgia playing those. 7-4 Stros, two home run jacks from Josh Young to make it 7-4. I had to put the controller down on the Grand Theft Auto Vice City, otherwise I would have forgot about you guys. I wouldn't be calling the game anymore. I'd just be occasionally looking at you guys and looking at the game, and then actually playing my video game. Sun Yard, Tommy's Mansion, Ice Cream, Safe House, Pay and Spray, Hardware Store, Ammunition, Telephone. Ooh, baby. I remember playing a game called Strider, and that one fucking infuriated me to no end because it's like you were a guy who was side scrolling. You had like a sword, and the levels were fucking so hard. But I remember just like falling in love with that game and playing it like so much. Tecmo NBA basketball, Arch Rivals, Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl, Joe Montana Sports Talk football, NHL 94, NHL 95, Madden 95. I mean, just amazing shit. Paperboy. My favorite, like racing game, Road Blasters was at the arcade, but my favorite one was RC Pro-Am. Even to this day, I own it, and I can still play it, but you can only get to like the 10th or 20th level before you can't save. And then, but the levels and the sounds and the movement of RC Pro-Am was done beautifully for an '80s Nintendo game. The cool music, the way that the RC cars moved, super hard game, but hella fun with friends. Still holds up to this day. 2 seasons of Shameless in a week, dude. You're determined because I'm harping on you. I'm getting on you, bro. I'm already finishing. Like I'm going through like Game of Thrones. I'm fucking doing True Blood multiple times. I did the new Dexter. Now I'm doing the old Dexter. I got to go through all the good shows. Lions MC, Grimm. Like once I start a show, I'm committed. I just keep going. Like right now, I'm on Dexter and I'm on like season 5. I got like 3 seasons to go, but nothing will be like the ice truck killer or Trinity. Like obviously, when you watch that show, you always will remember how the show started with the ice truck killer, and then the fucking Trinity was the best season. Breaking Bad, yeah, Breaking Bad is so good. Breaking Bad is so fucking good. And Better Call Saul actually is pretty fucking good too. After you finish Breaking Bad, I would recommend it. You'll be like, Better Call Saul, bro. I'm like, if I wouldn't say it wasn't good if it wasn't. It's good. All right, brother. Top of the 8th, 8-4 Astros. So hopefully we can get saved. But if we don't, I ain't gonna cry about it. I already know how things go. As long as we're gaining subs and we're growing, But hopefully, at some point, something good from the universe, the sports gods and the YouTube gods will allow me to hit the algorithm so we can actually get to 25 and 30 and 50 and 100, and we can get more goats and And then we can do more giveaways and things will be better overall. Get back to that point where we're hitting 100 to 200 every night. But you're going to need like 10 goats in the room for that to happen. So, no, he doesn't. Does he really? Dude, when you see it, take a picture and send it to me too on Insta. I would love to see it. Yeah, I mean, certain characters are very like iconic and whatnot, and yeah, dude. Once you finish Breaking Bad, you watch it from the beginning to end, and then you do Better Call Saul, you'd be like, dude, it's like the same vibe, some of the same characters, nothing changes. It's just like the same type of thing. It's like a spin-off, but they do it really good. I mean, I'll never be Breaking Bad, but for what it is, it's magnificent. And he does such a fucking great job. And it's got so many iconic moments in that show too. Like I might actually start it, from the beginning. You know, it can get some of those shows can get very addictive. It's like you fall in love with the characters, the cast, and then you just like you want to be able to be a part of that world. You just want to get away from reality. That's why I think I love True Blood so much because I love the characters so much. Like Lafayette, and he's like the only one that's passed away from the show. But it's like I really like iconic personalities and just like immersing yourself. It doesn't have to be fantasy necessarily or vampire type style Louisiana. But I just think that show, the way they did it on HBO, was exactly what they needed to do to hook me in. So like I wouldn't watch a show like that normally, but since that show was on HBO and they made the gore the way they did, and the actors and actresses were awesome, I was like, yeah, I can still watch that show. And to me, that is one of my top. It's like it's never gonna not be out of my top five ever. I will always be able to go back and watch it from the beginning and enjoy it because I enjoy the characters so much. Game of Thrones, Dexter, Stranger Things. I mean, same thing. Mayans MC is very, very good. And obviously, I got to watch Sons of Anarchy from the beginning. So, old school Frasier. I remember with Cheers and MASH, and I would remember getting so pissed when MASH came on because when MASH came on, it was always like I wanted to watch cartoons or like sports. I'm like, fucking MASH. And it's like MASH is like a critically acclaimed show. It's like, military type show. But it's like when you were a kid, it's like, oh, golly. I was like, I mean, I might end up watching some episodes, but it's like at that point, when you're that age, you're like, no, I need Turtles, G.I. Joe, or I'm watching College Hoops or, something, NBA with Jordan. It's like MASH. Better Call Saul license plate. Get the fuck out of here. No way. And it's a real license plate or is it a Better Call Saul like custom license plate? Is it metal? Is it plastic? That's cool. See, I like unusual shit like that. Like my collection is not like normal. It's like I always look for like the rare stuff, the rare bobbleheads, the rare cards, the rare figures. Like I have like a bunch of old school wrestling figures, and one of my coolest ones is a Stone Cold Steve Austin Japanese figure. And when you have the figure, it's got like multiple heads. It's not a WWE Elite figure, and it's a smaller size and it's got multiple heads, multiple hands, and whatnot. You can like move shit around. But the best part is that it comes with beer cans that you can put, and it has beer coming out of the beer cans, so you can position the cans as if he's drinking them and pose it. And dude, there's nothing cooler than that. There's a lot of wrestling figures that are out there that are insane and awesome, and I have a big wrestling figure collection. It's probably one of my favorite things to collect besides starting lineups and McFarlane's and bobbleheads and custom McFarlane's and cards and magazines and anything sport or toy related. Star Wars, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, GI Joe. I mean, Ghostbusters, He Man. I mean, you name it. But something about wrestling figures to me, I'll never not stop collecting. I like that is like kind of my go-to. But I'm very selective though. Damn, I want to see a picture of that, bro. All right, we have a pitching change. All right, I got to do some Vice City here. Oh, people are going down. Oh, oh yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Get off me. Oh, shit. God, I missed this game so much. Oh, I blew myself up. 4 stars. Go. I'm in the cab. Oh, I just went on fire. Shit. I blew up. I have 4 stars already. Not good. Helicopters, fucking SWAT, all the cops. Oh, now I'm on fire again. These guys really want me. Nope. Oh, I just got run over. Undercover cop in a Lambo. See ya. Bike strip. SWAT. Palm trees. Oh, this Lambo I have is nice. It's blue. Quad exhaust. Oh, shit. Oh, now I blew up. All the cops are all over me. Get off me, SWAT. All right, now I'm in the SWAT vehicle. Your boy is a gangsta. SWAT. 4 stars. You'd be like, this guy's the Asian sensation. Damn right. It would be cool to be a professional gamer. It'd take a lot of effort and energy. But I tell you what, though, if I didn't have sports, dreams and whatnot, yeah, this would definitely have been something that I would have pursued. I'm still in the SWAT vehicle. 5 stars. All the cops, all the sirens. Get off me. I wish you guys could see this. I mean, I run this, dude. I'll go. You gotta evade you have to know where to go to evade on like Vice City and San Andreas. Otherwise, you'll get caught like real quick. All right, I'm out of the SWAT vehicle now. Now I'm in like a Datsun or like a Volvo. Get out of here, cop after cop after cop. I'm in the Chrysler. All right, I'm almost done here. Hold on, they're still chasing me. All right, we're back at the game. Oh, dog is good. Little dribbler towards first. That is the end of the inning. 8-4 Houston. Dude, I appreciate that. I mean, could you just imagine if we actually had like the same type of vibe from last year, like where we would be going? Like it would really impact the channel in a big, big way. I mean, like we're already over 20, like I said, we're gaining ground. We're not going forwards or backwards or getting troll people, and then like, we're going up, we're going down, we're going down, we're going up. Like now we're at a point where everything is gonna, keep going in a positive direction. So all right, let me get back to Vice City here while we have a commercial break. Let me see if I can evade the police, which I won't be able to. I'm telling you, man, Vice City, San Andreas. I might have to bring up a San Andreas because I don't own it, but I would like to play it. I never actually got a chance to own it, San Andreas. I always had to play it somewhere. All right, I'm gonna take a quick look at Wemby and what else we got going on. Our Warriors started. All right, so let me take a quick peek here. Kings 29, Warriors 26 in the second quarter on NBA TV. Then we have 107, 104 Nets. Then we got 131, 106 Wizards, and 117, 103 Spurs. I want to see what Wemby did real quick. I'll be covering, obviously, some NBA game with Giannis, the Blazers, and then a lot of the good teams. All right, what did you have, Wemby? Wemby had 15, 6, and 1. 3 for 10 shooting, so not the best day, but he only played 21 minutes, so he would have ended up with probably 25. How many more seasons do you have to go, Elliot, to finish Shameless? It's crazy when you watch that show too, because it goes on so long that you literally see them grow up. Like some of them are like fucking young, and then you see them get to be like teenager or early 20s, to go from like 5, 6 years old all the way to all of a sudden they're like 20 something. It's pretty wild. I appreciate it, bro. ALCS game number 3. Yeah, Phillies are going to the World Series. There's no doubt. Nice. And anytime we can get to 20 or 30 or 40, I mean, that's a big problem why a lot of stuff wasn't because, a lot of it through the algorithm, they'll judge it based off that. So even if you're getting a bunch of views, but if you're not getting a lot of people to like, the certain, video, that definitely helps with the algorithm. And that was one part that people weren't really doing what they needed to do for us, on the channel. So to be able to have a few people like focus on that, that'll help us stay focused. So that way that no matter what, even with limited, that we can get there, and that'll help us with the next and the next and the next, or my reaction videos or whatnot. So, but most people, if you know me, I'm not going to be biased and whatnot. But obviously, Lions fans know that I've been giving them love all year. I'm not stupid. I got good ESP, and it's cool to see them ranked in the top 3 in the NFL. It doesn't surprise me. I've been telling you guys about them. It's just a matter of if you guys, watch the NFL and you dig deep and you pay attention and I'm not going to steer you wrong. I mean, I'm trying to get people to win money. I'm not trying to get people to be stupid or biased. It's all about balance. And then you're starting to see all the shows now. They're like, oh, Detroit Lions #1 in the NFL in the top 5. So it's like, it's like in fantasy. You got to be able to find those gems 2 or 3 weeks before everyone else notices. That's my gift. Like I can see it before it happens, so I can say it like 2, 3 weeks in advance. And then some people are like, no, I don't see it. And then all of a sudden, 2, 3 weeks later, after everything is, transpired, they're like, oh shit, okay, I see it now. I mean, but it shouldn't be to the point where they're fucking all 5-1. And yeah, they do look like one of the best teams. Like, sometimes you can just tell. And I'm a big coach person too. So if I like the coach, chances are the team is going to be pretty fucking good too, because I'm very selective. Like, you have to have a certain type of personality. I'm not going to just like anybody. So you're on season 6. So you rewatched it from season 3. Yes, you have to. Episode 1. No, okay, good. And then 5 to go. Yeah. 10 plus seasons. And I actually watched them live like the last how many years? 3 or something? So, like, those last 3 years, like, kind of, anticipating watching it, like, when I used to get excited for, like, Game of Thrones, like, or Stranger Things. Like, there's not too many things, but Stranger Things, it just comes out, like, on Netflix, and you just watch it and binge it. But when it was, like, Game of Thrones, the HBO, it's like you had to wait every week, for, like, 3 months, and then you get an episode, then there's a break, and then down the road, then you get another, like, 3 months of, like, 12 episodes or 10 episodes. Like, I kinda miss watching shows like that. But we have so many streaming services now. It's like some people have cable or satellite, and then they have like 10 streaming services. Like, it all started out kind of ridiculous when we had like one, and then all of a sudden everyone started doing it, and we started to kind of make fun, like Prime and all these other ones, whatever. But then they have made it such to a point where you have to pick and choose. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything to watch. Like, you have to like get a couple, or you're going to be bored as hell. Unless you can just play video games all day. Altuve. Ooh, got him. 8-4 Houston. Two home run shots, blasts by Josh Young, but not enough to win the game. Yeah, it gets crazier and crazier as it keeps going too. Like, just when you think you've seen Frank and everyone, be crazy, and then it takes the crazy to like a whole nother level where you're like, damn, like Chicago life. And I actually have friends that I've worked with the sales industry that have lived there, and now they live here in Oregon. And to ask them like how they portray the show, how accurate are some of these like scenarios for like out there. Because some stuff is going to be like, oh, you read on the internet, but if you've never been there, you don't know. But like actually being there myself, that place is dangerous and scary, but it has amazing food and a lot of cool history. and obviously, with the sports teams and everything as well. But I would not live there. It was cool to visit, though. Oh, Euphoria, I watched that. She did a great job with that. She's underrated. That's what put her on the map. Like you watch her in doing other shows, but when you watch anyone that that can portray, either substance abuse, or you have a drinking problem, or you're addict, or you have issues, or depression, and like once you start seeing shows where people are like vulnerable and then they are like real, like you might know someone like her, then or maybe you have been her, if it's a girl watching, then if you do a really good job at it, then you're like, ooh, like this might not be a show that I normally go out of my way and watch, but when you watch like certain episodes, you either get drawn in and you like good acting and you can vibe and relate to certain people, or you have no interest. So I'm very well rounded. I feel like out of all my friends in my friend group, I feel like I'm the most open to food and like entertainment. It's like I'm not going to just be like, oh, I only like this. Like I'm willing to give shit a try. So yeah, yeah. Anytime you end up having people that that we lose to, yeah, it's just that's why I'm hoping, with Stranger Things and everything, I want to make sure that we don't have anything unexpected. I want everyone to be healthy, everyone to be good, because like you can have filming done, but it's like, I don't want to see no CGI. I want to have everyone in the show. But just when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and it shuts down the video game world and pop culture, hip hop entertainers and basketball players and just us gamers, we're going to lose our minds. It's just going to be crazy. And then obviously when Stranger Things comes out, that'll shut down the world for 2 days. And then obviously be the most popular thing for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, because it will be the last one. And then people will have to go back and want to watch them from season one, or at least get a refresher. Because I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll rewatch season four about a month before or 2 months before. So that way it's fresh in their brain. So that way, boom, when the new one comes, you haven't missed out. The little intro they do, you don't even really need it. You already know. Like, even if you kind of remember, it is kind of cool to, like, when you love something, to go back and like rewatch that last season prior to the last one coming out. Because shit, man, that show is amazing. And plus, 80s based. There's a reason why a lot of these shows go back to that era, because 80s, 90s, it gets replicated because we had some of the best music and some of the best style, some of the best looks, some of the best athletes, actors. Like you'll never repeat the 80s and 90s. Biggie and Pac are not coming through the door ever again. Like their shit is eternal. Like you put their shit on compared to any trap rapper or anyone that's out, and it's not like old and this is corny and it sucks. Like it like it's bangers. Like it's eternal. Like Ozzy Osbourne is eternal. You know, you listen to Ozzy, I don't give a shit if you like him or not. That shit moves you. Like if you're in the car and you hear one of his hits, like like that iconic voice. I mean, you can't replicate greatness like that. Fucking goat. I want to meet him before he passes away. I had VIP tickets with me and my boy Jay Graves, Duffel Bag Boys. The guy I road trip to go with Mariners, and I would have been able to be like right there, first 5 rows. Maybe get a picture or something. But COVID happened, and then he ended up getting like a sickness, and yeah, I mean he's getting up there in age now too. So it's like he'll do like Comic-Con type stuff, and he'll sign stuff, but like I never got a chance to see him perform in the 80s and 90s, and that's like I would really, if there was like a time machine, like a portal, I would love to be able to go and like see him in the 80s and 90s. That would be amazing. Seen one episode, bro, you're slacking. It's such a good show. The acting in it is phenomenal, and it's good storytelling. It's like it's a show that is hyped and it's worth the hype, dude. Like you just gotta dive in. You're younger, so it's not going to relate to you as much as if you were like 30, 40, 50 years old. But I know people that are under 30 that love it. It's like, doesn't have a cult like following for nothing. Third ranked Buckeyes, seventh ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. best pregame, best announcers, it says. Biggest game of the year. It's like we're better than College Game Day on ESPN. Gus Johnson, GOAT. Dude, Stranger Things got me hyped to the point where I would like put my phone down and I wouldn't talk to anyone. Like I'm always on my phone reading, looking at film and whatever it is, Twitter, X, Instagram, I'm reading. Back to the wall, caught, one away. But I mean, there's certain shows, same thing with Game of Thrones. I'm like, dude, don't even fucking call me, don't talk to me. You already know what it is. I'm busy. Now, I'm gonna be busy for like an hour and a half. Like, don't fuck with me like right now. Like, and then if people message, I got to focus because in certain shows you got to pay attention to what's said, otherwise you're gonna get lost. Stranger Things, bro. It's gonna shut down the world. It's gonna go down in history, and this is my ESP time traveler. It'll go down in history as the most watched show ever. Like once it hits, and it's the last one. Oh, it's gonna break every record. It's like Grand Theft Auto 6, record breaker. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the top of the ninth. 8-5, Houston. I'm gonna play some video games tonight. It makes me happy. Probably play some basketball, some college football. Probably be the Ducks for good old times. I got to mob around in the Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Probably because I'm watching Dexter right now. That's why I wanted to play it. I'm like, I want those Miami vibes. Like replay value is so good. I feel the replay value in San Andreas and Vice City is better than 5 because I feel with 5 it's so good, and if you've gone through the story and you mob around, like it's been out for so long that like people are tired of it. But if you do like San Andreas or Vice City, like I feel like the replay value for that it like holds to the test of time better than that game than 5. 5 is more detailed. 5 has amazing missions. The graphics are the best, but it's like that Vice City and that San Andreas, though, man. And you would love San Andreas too, Elliot. Fuck, I might have to get it. We've been talking about it so much. I might have to down the road. It won't be right away, but I always have to get stuff like Paisley first for you guys. But maybe going to the video game store and getting a used copy. Might have to. Like shit, even if I had to pay 40, $50 for it, I would. That's how good it is. $60, fuck it, I would do it. It's like that's how good it is. And I never owned it either. So it's like I need to start it from the beginning and do the missions. It's the little things in life that can give you the joy, the nostalgia. Top of the ninth, 1 out. 8-5, Houston. Wow, big hit. God, Houston is so good on the road today, playing just like Texas played in the first 2 games. News is good. This one is low because it has Oregon 6, and we know goddamn well that we're louder than Kansas State, Florida State, Auburn. It's like Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon. Like, stop kidding yourself. And those other places, that have like 100,000 max. We're at 50, 55,000. So that one isn't. It's a big game boomer. So he's probably an Oklahoma fan that's biased, but that shit is too low. Normally we're in the top 4, and the other 3 have 100,000 capacity, or we're in the top 3. Like rank 3, but if we're doing it actually based off decibel per person, we're number 1. Oh wow, Burt Young, Rocky Star pass. Wow. Yeah, anyone that would go to a Duck game for the first time too, it's an experience. Like what you guys see on TV, it doesn't really give it justice, but you have an idea. I mean, it's definitely, and it's like everything is hype. Tailgates, the people. It's like it's a fucking vibe, man. It's like more swagger than any other the Seahawks or the Mariners or Kraken or Blazers or Beavers. Like the Ducks is like number 1. It's a fucking vibe, man. So much fun. It would be cool to be able to go see USC, but I don't know if that's going to happen unless I get gifted tickets or something. or unless the donos just, we have some amazing donations or something. But I do need to get some new shoes. I know my shoes are getting worn out from walking with Paisley like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. I got my Dame 2s have like holes in the bottom of them. You know what I mean? It's like I got like Rose City Red collector Dames that are worth a few hundred. I don't really want to wear those if I'm going to be outside because they're going to get ruined the first day I step out. And then I have like Buccaneer custom, kind of like painted on. So I don't know if I really want to wear those, but if I have to choose one of the two to wear, I'm going to have to wear those Buccaneer shoes. They're kind of like Chucks, but they're custom buck painted. You were 10. Yeah, but you got to meet Jeff Hardy and Kevin Nash, though. Yeah, that's pretty iconic. It's like me with Griffey and Koufax. I mean, we're talking about like, player from my childhood and then player from my dad's childhood. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better pairing. Best left-handed pitcher, best left-handed hitter. That's why I like the lefties. 8-5 Stros, top of the ninth, 2 outs, runner at first, 0-1 pitch. Fucking crushed it. Shit, to the wall. Kyle Tucker is a beast. Got him. Inning is over. Rangers need 3. Tucker, you're good. I like you. It's like the one guy I actually like on the team besides this right here. I like Jeremy Pena, and I like Kyle Tucker, and I have much love and just respect for the greatness of this. But other than that, that's about it. That's where it goes, that far. No further. You wore a Purdue hoodie? Purdue, Drew Brees. Purdue, Mike Allstott. That's special. Boilermakers, I'm a fan, dude. You got Brees, I got Allstott. I mean, Jesus Christ. Best short quarterback, best fullback. Game over. Purdue. The Purdue spoiler makers. That's what they call them when they do something good. The spoiler makers. I would rock a Mike Allstott Purdue jersey. I know you would rock a fucking Drew Brees Purdue. That would be dope. Shit, maybe I'll get one for you. I gotta get you all swagged up, Just need people to, show some love, and then I can spread the joy, of the memorabilia and merch and whatnot. And then we can all be on that same level. I got to pick up the Vice City still. SWAT is after me. Oh, I'm in the water. Oh, I drowned. Oh, all the cop cars are going in the water too. All the Lambos wasted. The boy died. Distribution last played in 2010, October 9th. It's a homecoming. It's cool that I didn't delete this file too because I have so much like weapons and property and everything. Like thank God I still have that PS2 memory card. Man, I'm gonna get into that. Maybe play some NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz is always good, and I got Blitz on the PlayStation and on the 64. It's money. If I ever get like rich, I want to get the arcade system of NFL Blitz and NBA Hang Time, which was the last NBA Jam they did. So it's like in '99, 2001 ish, and it's a dual machine, and it's got I think it's got 4 controllers. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of a bigger machine and whatnot, but it's epic. And then you wouldn't have to do anything. You just plug it in, boom. You want to play some NBA Hang Time? Awesome. Amazing graphics, good cabinet, and then boom, you want to do the the most recent arcade NFL Blitz? Hell yeah. The place that in Portland that we go to for ground control, they have one. So I'm always on that machine trying to hustle, Justin. I usually can beat people up on blitz bad because I know everything on that game. But then the hang time is competitive. Sometimes I'll win, sometimes he'll win. It'll go down to the wire. But those machines are incredible. But we usually have this thing when we go to the arcade, we try to beat at least one game when we go. So if that means dropping $10 playing a game, but we beat it, that's the goal. So we can like drink down there or eat pizza, but then try to find a game and we have to try to beat it. That's what makes it fun. But you want to mob around and play as many as you can, but then you got to find a game or two and try to beat it. And we've been pretty successful. I think we've been to like 2 or 3 arcades and we're 5 games I think we've beat so far. So that's pretty good. Good commitment. Ninja Turtles and whatnot, a few others. Jordan Poole has 41 points after 3 quarters. Get out of here. Shit that comes up on my timeline is like viral meme Vine star Mr. Putum in the coffin has passed away. Becky Hammond. Too bad Sabrina Ionescu is on the Liberty. I'm a rep her. Go Ducks. Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Small little. Oh, hell yeah. I would have to go. I mean, like I said, if I'm going to visit, people, like I need to be able to go to somewhere that's like iconic. Like that's a big important thing to me. Like, oh, we're going to go to a game. Oh, we're going to go courtside. Oh, you got front row. Nah. How about what's the food like? Like, give me the best food, and then I'll be happy. It's like we can hang out. I don't even have to go to a game. We can just like hang out at the spot or bring the food to a place and just hang out and eat it. Chill. Watch some shows, listen to some music. Vibe. 8-5 Astros. Bottom of the ninth. No outs. Runner at first. He's going to start playing like James Harden or eating like James Harden. I mean, Jordan Poole's really streaky. Oh, he went around. 0-2. And then obviously once this game ends, then we'll call it a day. Look at that guy with a big old baseball on his head. That's hardcore, dude. Think about how much alcohol you'd have to consume to wear a baseball for a head. Got him. Big strikeout there. The series is going to be 2-1 Rangers. Said hopefully not eating. Yeah, I know, right? Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Bottom of the ninth, Josh Young, 2 for 3, 2 dingers, 4 RBIs. The only guy that could really do anything for the Rangers tonight. Yeah. What happened? It's like we're working so hard to improve the backgrounds and the looks and the thumbnails. It's like we need to gain some momentum. I mean, I'm trying to improve shit, every single day, every single hour, for your guys' visual pleasure, whether it be the thumbs or spinning logos or backgrounds or tickers or whatever it may be. It's got to keep grinding, and like I said, we won't have a lack of content, and that's the big thing too. It's like, we can really, we're one of the most versatile, channels too, because like you said, how many channels could actually do anything, you know, basketball, baseball, football, hockey, NASCAR, wrestling, no problem. Most people would not be able to go that route. Pitch is low, 1-2 count. I mean, it's your guess is as good as mine. I always make sure I take care of people. I'm honest. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Double play, got him, and it's over. Astros take game 3, 8-5, which is a little bit more competitive than that 10-0. We gotta find new ones. Like sometimes you're gonna have ones for life, and sometimes you're gonna have some that are temporary or whatnot, or sometimes they'll stay, sometimes they'll go. Maybe they'll never come back, some will. So just gotta keep grinding, and that way we can get new ones. And then once we get new ones, then that'll replace some of the old ones, and then we'll be all right. You know. But I'm gonna keep, grinding out greatness, giving you the spinning, logos and giving you the fire thumbs, and we're just gonna keep moving. And we got Jags and the Saints tomorrow, so that'll be fun. We just need to get some more heavy hitters. I'm gonna show a couple things of food, and then we're gonna dip. Gonna end it on a good note, looking at some food, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, barbecue chicken. Chicken tinga. Bomb. Burnt ends. You can just look at it and know that it's delicious. It's a game over. You already know. Look at the goddamn marinade. Like this is one of the best ones that's actually on overall internet overall. There's a lot of stuff that's out there that's similar, but when you can see like every detail in like HD 4K, every little piece of juice or marinade that's on it, like it's the drizzle, like you can like almost imagine you taking a bite and what it would taste like in the middle, and then just like with the marinade and the sauce, that's when you know you got a good photo. You know what I'm saying? That's when 10 out of 10. I'm always going to give you guys thumbs, 10 out of 10. The grind, 10 out of 10. Photos, 10 out of 10, especially the food. That's when you're on to something different. Oh, crab rangoon. Got to hit the gumbo. I wish I could have gumbo like at my like discretion, like whenever. Oh, Hawaiian barbecue. That's game over. Mouth watering. It is. Well, I appreciate all you guys. You guys know who you are. I appreciate all the people that donated, commented, shared. We'll be back tomorrow for the Jags and the Saints, which will be fun. We'll be live at around 5 p.m. Shout out to everyone on Twitter, X, as well as YouTube watching, and I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll grind it out. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.